Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Free Fire Challenges Philippines Season 1, Day number 4. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, to bring you guys all of the hardest of action. And today, we will be able to see whether or not Go Willem Views will continue to break their own records, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, records have been broken already, all from the past few days that we've seen. All the teams, not just Goblin Wheels, but most of the teams in here, like those from the bottom moving up to the top, those who are moving their way. Well, actually, scrambling their way across the
Mhm.
leaderboards right now. So there's a
Yeah.
lot more of scrambles that will be happening, AJ,
Yeah.
all throughout the days that we're moving forward.
I hope to see even more of that, right? We have also seen teams like the Monkey Tribe slowly stepping it up in terms of, being able to pick up more kills for themselves. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're enjoying all of this action from Free Fire, it is only thanks to the one and only Infinix Note 11S. The Free Fire Challenger Philippines is sponsored none other by them. A powerful smartphone with a Helio G96 Ultra gaming processor, and you get to fire up your gaming experience. And get this now for only 9,990 pesos, G.
Yeah, I mean that is really affordable, and yeah,
Yeah.
it is brought to us by Infinix Mobile, the official sponsor of the Free Fire Challenger Philippines. And fire up your game with their phone, Infinix's best-selling gaming smartphone, the Infinix Note 11S. And now, AJ, we were talking about this earlier as well. So it's more of a different experience when you have a great phone with you, especially in tournaments
Yeah.
just like this, and
Yeah.
it will be a great advantage for those teams having like Infinix Note 11S in their hands, especially when they're fighting against teams. And
Yeah.
that would be a game changer for everyone who's hoping to do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, no doubt about that at all, right? You can have the mechanical capabilities, you can have the reflexes, you can have the strategy, but if you don't have the hardware to, get all of the input that you intend for each and every single one of the moves in the game, it's gonna be a GG, man. But let's take a quick look and see exactly what all of these teams are fighting for in here, gentlemen, because as usual, Garena Free Fire is always generous with the prize pool. Each and every single squad will be able to take something away, and not just in the whole competition, but specifically in the league stages. And from the league stages, the top 12 will move on to a grand finals, which has got its prize pool of its own. So even from the bottom, we have 2,500 pesos for those who take that constellation back if they place 15th to the 18th spot, 5,000 pesos for those who take the 11th all the way down to the 14th position, 7,500 pesos for those that place the 9th and 10th position, 10,000 pesos for those who manage to pick the 5th spot up to the 8th position, 15,000 pesos for the 4th spot. Third place will get 25,000 pesos, 50,000 pesos for those who are the runner-ups of the league stages. And of course, the winners, the number one spot, they take back 75,000 pesos. Now, these numbers are not super awesome just yet. I know you Free Fire fans are used to seeing way more. Those numbers are on the next page because the prize pool for the grand finals, as we were mentioning, Neptune, this is the bomb.
Definitely. I mean, it's a good thing that everyone will not be going home empty-handed in there from the league stages. But as you mentioned, AJ, from the grand finals prize pool, we have a huge prizes right here from the 12. From all the 12 will be jumping in onto the grand finals. So the 11th and 12th will be taking home 5,000 pesos. The 9th and 10th will be taking home 7,500. 10,000 will be taken home by the 7th and 8th. And as we move into the 5th and 6th, or the 6th will be taking home 20,000 pesos, the 5th with 25, the 4th with 35,000, the 3rd with 75,000, the 2nd with 150,000, and the first place champions of this tournament will be taking home 400,000 pesos, AJ.
How many Infinix Note 11S can you purchase with the first place's reward, man? Goodness me, the answer is way too many. You can set up 10 squads for Garena Free Fire and submit your teams in here. And they can all have this high-end device for themselves to power up their gaming situation. But you know what? Here's the thing. Each and every single one of these teams, yes, they fight for the money, but they also fight for the glory. And how do they make sure they are up? By going in here and making sure that they they can secure the booyah for themselves, because obviously that is the one that secures the most number of points when it comes to placements. In is a total of 12 points. The second place is 3 points lower, 9 points only, and from then on all the way down to the 10th spot, you just reduce 1 point as you rank one lower. And the 11th and 12th position take nothing back whatsoever. One kill gets 1 point, Neptune.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a stacking up on the kills, and because like just in case you go into second place right there with a 3 point difference, you'll be able to like cover it up with the kills that you have, and the balance, the golden ratio that we keep talking about is the key for that to happen. Now, going into the qualified teams of the league stages, we have Group A, Group B, and Group C. And Group A consisting of Ego Oblivions, Govilam Wheels, Monkey Tribe, No Fear, Reba Yolus, and BPH Velocity. AJ.
Yep, Govilam Views, obviously the ones who have been very, very impressive in the competition so far, with 5 booyahs to their name. And yesterday was the first day where they broke away from the usual trend of up, down in terms of consistency. Like you mentioned just before the show, you pointed out something amazing, Neptune. They were down in the first round, and the rest of the threes, they were just up. They are creating a brand new wave here for themselves and really impressing us by bagging 2 back-to-back booyahs, the very first that we have seen in the competition, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. And teams just like this, I mean, if they continue on their consistency, they might be able to overtake those in the top. But another impressive team is coming from Group B. But before we go there, AKO Ligers, Bloody Heads, Equinox, A New Gen, The Vindicators, and Who's Next consists of that group. Now, AKO Ligers move in from the 10th to the 4th after yesterday's game.
My apologies, brother, because I mixed up Govilam Views' record with AKO Ligers. It was AKO Ligers the ones that hit that back-to-back booyah, and a super impressive run it was. Most definitely the Titans of Group B, after quite a submissive form of them, showed up last week in day number 1 and 2, right? But let's see if or not they will be able to hit those high notes again here in day number 2 of week 2. This is how things will break down, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 6 matches. We start things off at Bermuda, and then we move on to Kalahari, and we hit that reset button. And of course, as usual, Group A versus B, followed by Group B versus C, and to wrap things up, Group A versus C, Neptune.
Yeah, it's starting to look like the first day of our series. We're back to Bermuda and Kalahari. We'll have to find out, because we have all details already, the data, or the teams already have all the data on how each team are playing all those maps. And on this day, this is where they need to apply what they learned from the previous days. And Bermuda at some point will be more of an advantage from all the teams, because they are really familiar with that. But there are some teams that are really popping off on Kalahari, so that will make a difference from some of the leaderboard standing that they have.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the teams that we have got our eyes on this time around. Rev Aeolus, they have most definitely been, struggling in the competition to maintain their consistency. Most of the points that they have managed to bag come through from those placements, but very recently they have been able to find some accurate shots as well. AKO Ligers, from their rise to the very top yesterday, they jumped from the 10th position all the way up to the 4th spot. In fact, at one point they were placed in number 2, and they're not too far away from that spot once again in here. And of course, who can forget Govilam Views, the team with the most number of booyahs in the competition so far. And we kind of asked of them, Neptune, whether or not they can give us more consistency. They're giving us exactly that. And when they start, those teams, those other teams, they are going to start to fear them a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, they really earned, these teams who are in here really earned their place on the teams to watch, because they have been impressive. They have been, like most of the teams that we called out, really impresses us after a few rounds or after a few days. We call them out, and then they show up that saying, oh, this is what we have to give you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we are glad to be the voice of the audience as well, right? Because all of the fans in the audience, they kind of want to see all of these teams step it up as well. They want to see their favorite, players go out there and perform slightly better. And what better way to motivate them without the voices of the Mustachio and Neptune out there screaming a little bit of cheers their way, right? Eva Radicals, this team. Let's talk a little bit about them, Neptune, because they've got one booyah in here so far. And compared to Go
Yeah.
Willem Views, that's quite but they are still in that number one spot. Although, albeit with a very, very small lead of just 4 points, but they've managed to maintain that consistency without hitting the placements because of their true aggressive nature out there on the battlefield. Is this going to be the same today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We don't know. We have to wait for match number 3 because for now, Group C will be taking a rest. Group A and B, they kick things off Neptune, and it's going to be starting off at Bermuda.
Yeah, the green grass of Bermuda will be covered in blood after this match, but I know everyone from these teams are familiar with this, and it's more of how well these teams will place themselves, especially on the drop points that we keep seeing on the start of the match. I haven't been seeing a lot of teams getting that consistency on the drop points. Most of the teams right now are really, really getting really smart to get away from the other teams as well, because they don't want to be taken down. And especially for those at the bottom of the leaderboards, they don't want to meet up with those of the strong teams right there and then be eliminated earlier on. They want to have a fighting chance, chance for them to move up a little bit, probably with a placement and then later on with the kills, AJ.
Yeah, who's next gonna be in a very tight spot here because they are picking the drop into Cape Town together with Bloody Head and VDR. I believe they have got a little bit of company on their end as well. But of course, we switch our attention over to Equinox. Auto Knockout will be able to find a couple of players in front of them as well. New Gen Saya in here, and I don't think Hacks kind of meant to run in there. He was looking for a gun, but just as luck would have it, it would be the boys of Auto Knockout to find their artillery first. Saya gets knocked down onto the ground. Not too much of an issue for Toby to go in here for a quick pickup. And New Gen, they are not going to be taking the best out of this situation. Kanoho just finishes it off with the melee, and Auto Knockout very quickly take control of the situation, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very unfortunate for New Gen right there. And we were just talking about that. You don't want to go against a team like a strong. I'm not saying that New Gen doesn't have the strength to go against AKO, but it's just that they're not there just yet. So AKO is already showing up on this games, move themselves up from the middle of the pack up to the top, and they are here to bring themselves further up. And the same thing with New Gen, but I think they still need to figure out some things. But jumping in together with this team, it's real, very difficult. And probably if they have seen already the different team might be going against them, spread out a little bit, probably have two of them survive, and then they might have a chance later on to get the placement. But unfortunately, the elimination has been done, and we are down. Or I think we're still up with 12 teams right now. But unfortunately for New Gen, they've already hit some of their members down.
Bloody Head still in the compound with Who's Next. They know the presence of each other. They are aware of it, obviously, as they share this drop zone. They saw each other landing there, but it is a question of who will aggress and perhaps make that first mistake. Monkey Tribe, on the other hand, Equinox, Plantation. What better way to kick things off for the Monkey Tribe in this competition today than to find a few extra kills, right? Because there's another team that has been able to find those accurate shots, just like AV Crusaders.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the performance that Monkey Tribe has shown us from some of the games that they fought, I mean, they are in there to get on those kills. Unfortunately, it died down at some point. Probably it's with the rest that they had in between the matches. They lost some momentum, but hopefully they were able to figure out some of the things so far. Kills can be done by Monkey Tribe, and some of the teams right now as well will be able to perform. And going back, New Gen has Smiley in there, who might be going in, traversing all the sides of all the mountains and the hills right here to survive later on. And it's a smart move as well. They lost a few members. They need to get back on those points, probably a few kills later on, to at least not be left down at the bottom of the pack.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, man. And with the drop that they took moments ago, it was not that they couldn't pull away from that encounter, right? They just wanted to force that issue, and Auto Knockout was more than willing to take this fight. But now look at this Monkey Tribe moving straight
Oh,
towards Konoho, and this is a situation where Monkey Tribe might be able to overcome Konoho very easily, just purely with the numbers. But this guy, he does have the skill, but for the time being, he sends that information back to the rest of his team members. How will they come in here to help him shut down the play of Monkey Tribe? Monkey Tribe, they have most definitely struggled mechanically against some of these other teams. And I believe against Auto Knockout, it's not going to be an easy fight. But the numbers, once again, Neptune, on the side of the Monkeys.
yeah, I mean, very unfortunate for Kanoho. We've told this to him from before, but here we go. The backup is here. Cavalry will be coming in for the sides of Estella, who is on the vehicle right now. But Pan is trying to go and take that hit, and no shot will be able to knock them down just yet. But there goes Chers going down from the hands of Pan. But Pan will be going down as well from the hands of Seiya from afar. And there goes triple kill, and Monkey Tribe will be eliminated. AKO on knockout, really knocking everyone out right now. It's early into this game, and they already have 7 kills, AJ.
Seiya just went Super Saiyan right there, man. I mean, they just did not give them any chance whatsoever. Once again, it is the immediate response coming through from the rest of the players from Auto Knockout, which we expected in that situation. But it is the communication from Konoho, right? It's the reports. Instead of, over enthusiasm that we have seen from some of these pro players who think they can very easily nick a kill off whilst waiting for that backup. And that's one mistake Konoho just did not do. He respected his opponents and he waited. He trusted in the rest of his team members, and he only started shooting when he had no choice whatsoever, man. Even after backup had already arrived, he still calculated his moves before going out in the open, and that's exactly what makes Auto Knockout Ligers the true threat of this competition. Once again, their performance to jump from the 10th spot all the way up into the 4th slot is nothing short of impressive, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've called out how Kanoho often gets like not really having that trigger discipline because we know he have the mechanical skills. He can take them out,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
the exchange might not be that much because having Kanoho out of this game and the coordination that they have all throughout the end of the final safe zone, that will be more important for them instead of just having a few kills being done by Kanoho. So I think they learned that already and they're applying that not just today but also from yesterday. And a lot of changes has been done by this team and a lot of improvements right now will be happening, AJ, because it's not just we're calling them out, it's because they're spotting it on their own. We've seen some of the teams change up their gameplays as well as they progress from the start of the match up until the final circle. So these teams who are really making those small adjustments little by little and also the quick decisions that they do to make sure that they'll be able to get more kills or probably good placement points is really impressive, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. AKO just securing a couple of vehicles for themselves as well, just to give them the extra bit of mobility. And I believe they might go out hunting for kills shortly, but hopefully they do not, because they are in a perfect position to, just put themselves in the middle of the zone. They've already bagged 4 kill points. They don't really need more of those engagements very early on in the game, right? So hopefully, just picking up those vehicles is purely for mobility and nothing else. And look at that, man. Just at the edge of the screen, the last thing AKO needs is to drop in as a third party and have 2 teams just take them out at the same time. Bloodyhead as well as Who's Next. They've traveled all the way down to Kota Tua now, still keeping an eye on each other.
Yeah, I mean, they know the trajectory of each team going in there, and it's just a waiting game on who's going to fire next. And I think it's Who's Next right here, Hawkeye Yi, trying to go in on those shots against Bloody Head. But they are Bloody Head is in a disadvantage. They have the high ground, but they don't have much cover, so they're using up their glue walls and might be backing off a little bit, but not too far because as we see in the minimap, we have AKO who's already in here just roaming around getting those information and probably get a few kills, a few knockdowns in here just to get just to disturb what's happening in here for the side of Bloody Heads.
Let's see if or not Auto Knockout will take this hit, because now they have got the vantage point to pressure Bloody Heads, and who's next will be able to shoot them from the back as well. So this is just an unfortunate situation that the Bloody Heads are being put into. Danger zone! Now, just gonna be punishing Bloody Head a little bit more. They gotta get out of the situation pronto, Neptune.
Yeah, but it's stuck in the middle of a lot of teams. I mean, as we can see, we have Kali is already moving out down and into the middle of the danger zone. I think they need to flank a little bit more, and they're in the middle of the next circle as well. So Mark will be left in there with Maute, and then the buddy system is working for them because they can revive, and especially if they have the beat who to heal them up, they might be able to use that. And here comes Mark trying to go in straight in to the hands or into the sides of Ego Oblivion, AJ.
Yeah, and he's absolutely oblivious that Ego Oblivion's right in front of him. Mark now finally spots out those players with the sniper on the approach. Mark, opportunity. Danger zone has been dropped, and the glue wall gets popped out. It's a 2 versus 4 situation. Mark tries to back away with those glue walls. He needs to play game of survival whilst backup comes. And Mark this is the right decision for Mark to make. Don't get overexcited. Maute now getting hit, and he will be able to pop out his own glue wall as well. And survival for a couple of seconds, but Bloody Head's now getting hit from Equinox as well. This is not a great spot for these players.
Yeah, they're in the middle of everyone else, and a gunshot has been heard by everyone who's around them. So it might be bloody heads for the picking right now from all of these teams, and then later on, that's when they will converge against each other. No fear from the east. We have Wheels right now who's going in closer to those gunshots as well, and we know Wheels had the tendency of like being magnetized by the sound of those gunshots. So I think Bloody Heads is not in a very good position right now, especially there's not much cover from their end and surrounded by a lot of enemies. And No Fear right now is in here. I think they made or changed their pace a little bit from the aggressive that they have, because they've seen that the aggressiveness works at some point, but later down, I think they loses energy and then just stabilize towards the end. So they want to conserve it right now, get good placement, and then later on probably use the tactic that they did earlier to go in and get those kills. But hopefully this works for them, because not a lot of teams survive once it comes to the latter part of this round.
Yeah, absolutely agreed, man. No fear now. Go Willem Views, keeping an eye on them. Danger zone, forcing another team out as well, straight directly towards the players of Go Willem Views. No fear, just across the bridge, not making a move at all. And Embalore with the trigger discipline, not firing at them, just trying to keep a spot onto Impetus. And I believe he's trying to bait out a couple of shots from them as well, just to see if or not they can collect a little bit more information. I really love exactly what Go Willem Views is doing here, but I'm quite afraid that the compound that they hold on to is a super risky one. What happened to Bloody Head can most definitely happen to the rest of them as well, as the other teams try to squeeze into the next safe zone, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And I think here this is the initiation of Konoha right now. Like it was it bounced off and it went in, but didn't hit really. And that was surprising, because usually we see it bounce off from the walls, but from the ground, that is another thing. So we'll have to find out how will that end. I think AKO is already in a fight against who's next right here as the circle closes in a bit.
Oh, Hawkeye getting knocked down by Toby. No shutdown just yet. Oh, glue wall getting taken out. Unfortunately, glue wall expires at the worst possible timing, and Toby shuts it down. The rest of those players from the side of Auto Knockout just making quick work of that kill. And now VDRs in the crosshairs of VPH Velocity, and this is too straightforward of a fight for them to take. And look at this, all of those players just depending on one glue wall at a time, trying to conserve their glue walls as they try to make it through to a safer passage. But for VPH Velocity, all of the players just need to focus in the shots to that one glue wall all at the same time. But it looks like they are conserving some of their ammunitions as well, Neptune, just waiting for that final battle. These are all important decisions to be made, because if you waste too much of your resources early on in the game, the final zone, the final battle is not going to be easy at all. The nades that Ritus has in his artillery cannot be wasted so early on.
Yeah, and it's a good position for them as well. I mean, they don't have to use the glue wall, and they have this like the environment is on them. Like compared to VDR earlier, yes, they have that truck and also the cover, but they are going in for those glue walls. And there you go, shots after shots, and who's next will be eliminated right there. And that was the Churs who finished them off, getting a little bit closer from them as Kanoho and the rest of the team just distract them and making sure that they will not be found out that easily as they flank. Now going back to Wales right now, they are slowly moving in, and this is a very difficult position. They either go up or down in here, but Equinox right now, the shots earlier done by Equinox against some of the members of Bloody Heads might have started them to be a target of Bloody Heads, but right now they're walking in through BH or Bloody Heads right now, and the rest of the teams, a lot of the teams are being left out and being gate kept of Bloody Heads and some of the members who are left inside of the circle.
Kalahari, right outside of the zone, gets knocked down once again. Couldn't crawl in the nick of time. Equinox with so much of pressure from the side of Bloody Head. Kalahari gets picked up once again, but he will most definitely get knocked down. And Morgana, who tries to save him, is out of the competition as well. Bloody Head should have just cut their losses with Kalahari, saved Morgana instead, and they make the wrong decision in that position. And now Bloody Head, they have to just play this on with a duo.
Here comes Mark right now being chased. Oh, losing his life in there. And Mote is only remaining at this point. Mote is just trying to hide out. But no! Gunshots from above coming from Toby right there from Auto Knockout. And they are taking over the zone. Rev right now is being shot at from afar. And the rest of the teams will be rushing in. There goes vehicle gameplay coming from Churs and getting a little bit too close. And Revios will be eliminated in there. And it is VDR was able to get the final kill.
Yeah, let's see if or not these players will be able to outdo themselves, because they have already outdone each and every other team in this competition so far. The number of kills that AKO Ligers are hitting right now is most definitely legendary, is most definitely monumental for themselves, as well as their rise to the top. VDR now with a great knockdown by Cyborg. Ego still alive and kicking 5 kills in the bag so far. Not a great position to be holding on to, but the pressure onto the rest of the players on to VDR from Myson. He needs to reposition himself at the soonest, because AKO just beyond him, and they haven't really focused on him just yet, because together with the players of Ego, they are trying to shut down VDR first.
Yeah, it's only a few members remaining for VDR, and I think AKO will be able to eliminate some of them with help of Myson. There goes Vindicators has been eliminated, and we are left with 2 teams now. Ego Oblivion, they are in a difficult position earlier. They were able to put themselves in here in the low ground with a lot of cover, but AKO is in a disadvantage. They are outside of the circle with only glue walls in between them. They need to flank a little bit more and get EGO or Ego Oblivions from behind, but they are the targets right now. The only 2 teams remaining at this point, so there's not much more of a leeway from them, and we'll have to find out how well will they be able to go in for the push.
Kanoho most definitely gonna be a pain in the butt. Twinkle, and he survives that nade shot. MJ just behind them. Kanoho with the approach. Let's see how they finish this off. It's an equal 4 versus 4. But Cheers now on the ground by the safe zone. Myson, good backup by Seiya. They've equalized the numbers. MJ takes down Toby. 2 more players on the side of AKO. Jacob down on the ground. Kanoho, what a nade from afar. And now the numbers are all equal once again. 1 more nade towards MJ. Ego goes out. Auto knockout Ligers. What a record-breaking booyah!
And the booyah indeed. Kanoho right now, and there's the air MVP, and I think Kanoho being able to start off slow in there from the beginning and waiting for the teammate to come in, the coordination, the communication of this team. Seiya, Dyren, Churs, Toby, Cuties, Kanoho, and your boy right here from AKO Ligers are really, really, really happy to have this first booyah of this day, AJ.
First record-breaking booyah of the day. The record-setting booyah of the Free Fire Challenges Philippines Season 1 by the one and only AKO Ligers, man. What a matchup that was. Dominance from the get-go, and they were keeping an eye onto who's next, and that particular encounter, that fight, took such a long time to break down, man. And at one point, it was as if AKO would have been goners because they were caught off guard. They were caught out of position after going into the fight with who's next. I believe it was Monkey Tribe who just caught one player in the name of Kanoho. But the patience, the repositioning by Kanoho, and the trigger discipline, not going out for cheap kills, but waiting for the backup from the rest of the players. And Seiya just being the Super Saiyan who just dropped into that situation, saving Kanoho, bagging 3 kills as well, making Monkey Tribe look like a bunch of chumps who have not been improving in the competition. And it's really unfair because Monkey Tribe, they were just finding their stride, Neptune, and they were just shut down like they were no challenge whatsoever. And that particular performance just rolled on all the way to the end. It was a phenomenal performance by the team in here today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think how they went in from 10 to 4 from yesterday really is a motivation from them. And right now, since they are seeing themselves getting closer to that top spot, and there's no stopping them, AJ. I mean, all they have to do is just move forward, do the same, well, not really the same thing, but improve themselves further on those games, and they might be there, and just like that.
If they were to do the exact same thing again, oh my goodness me, man. Oh, I totally forgot. The first encounter was New Gen as they shared the drop zone together with them. Crazy stuff, man. As this team, it just continues to slay non-stop throughout the whole competition, right? And Monkey Tribe had the opportunity to punish Konoha very, very early on, but that was just a situation where they just couldn't see through to the end. And we thought it was going to be the end for Bloody Head as well moments after this engagement, man, because they just got caught in the worst position any team can get caught in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being in the middle of everyone else and then missing some of those gunshots, trying to back off, finding out that you have an opposing team waiting for you out there. There was really no way out for Bloody Heads. It's a good thing they were able to survive at that point and, well, at least get a decent amount of kills and points as well for the placement. But still, AKO right here as Kanoho, and Kanoho is not dying first at this match, so I think that is the key for AKO to be able to get that. And, all right, record has been broken.
My lord, the 22 bomb by AKO Ligers. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Eva Radicals, sit down. This is how you come out as the apex predators of the competition. But you know what? They need to maintain consistency as well, man. Eva Radicals, they've been able to show us consistency. Go Willem Views, although they are not up all the time, they're still able to hit really, really hard with their golden ratio of that balance, right? So AKO Ligers, they switched on yesterday. They continue that momentum in here today, and they are hitting even harder, Neptune. I am being mind blown by the vast improvement from last week into this week by this titan of a squad, man. 22 kills, 34 points overall. More than double of what Ego Oblivions, the runner-up in this lobby, managed to grab for themselves 15 points, which I actually have to say is very, very impressive. Ego Oblivions, the team that has not really been seeing a lot of bright days in the competition, hitting 6 kills and getting the second spot, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a smart move that they did earlier because they were an advantage when they were rushed earlier on their initial placement, like just behind or having the bridge behind them. They moved down a little bit on the lower ground wherein they anticipated that a lot of things will be happening, as we've seen earlier. A lot of teams already placed themselves towards that bridge and just started killing, and they were just picking off some of the kills from afar, as we've seen from, if I'm not mistaken, that was my son that was just picking off some of those kills. And yeah, I'd like to see more of them, AJ.
Yeah, Go Willem Views not really hitting those high notes, but 9 points, not too bad at all. And obviously, Monkey Tribe, unfortunately, they bombed out a little bit early. Reviolas, the team that we're keeping an eye on, only could pick up placement points this time, a weakness of their sort. They need to find those skills a little bit more. But of course, that was round number 1, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Great stuff coming in here from all of the teams. And once again, phenomenal performance from AKO Ligers.
That was really impressive from this team. And we've seen some teams getting in ahead 12-13 on the kills, but it's consistent. So if they consistently do this, and looking at that list earlier on the round
Mhm.
standings, it's like they're just pulling out all those kills from the other members. From the other
Oh yeah.
teams. They're just
Oh
like
yeah.
getting out, stealing some kills from some of the engagement, a good position from them as well. Apart from the
Mm.
elimination that they do when they go onto the face-to-face encounter, like
Mhm.
New Gen, Monkey Tribe, and some of the teams in there who were unfortunate to be starting it off with AKO Ligers. So kudos to
Yeah.
AKO Ligers. A lot is expected from this team, AJ.
Yeah, a lot is expected from this team, right? And here's the thing: in just this one match, you know how Eva Radicals were the most dominant because they had the most number of kills, and then just behind them was Govilum Views. AKO Ligers, out of nowhere, they've just kicked Govilum Views down, and they've slid in to the second spot in terms of the number of kills picked up in the competition so far. And that is phenomenal. That is impressive. That is mind friggin' blowing. Kalahari, this is going to be map number 2. Let's see if or not AKO Ligers can continue roaring on into the final zone once again, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. For this map, wherein the snipers will be an advantage, and we know how AKO Ligers position themselves on the refinery, getting the high ground, getting those platforms, and probably pick off a lot more of kills. Now, they are not really that much of a aggressive in terms of
Oh,
gameplay
wow.
compared to Eva Radicals that we was mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
but they are doing
Mhm.
this their way, and they're doing it the best, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I love this drop zone being picked by all of these teams. A lot of information they've collected in the competition so far has allowed them to avoid each other. So, no early engagements in Kalahari, which you have to agree, Neptune, is very, very rare. You have this in Purgatory, most definitely, in Bermuda sometimes, where we don't see engagements for a long time. But in Kalahari, a much smaller map, you expect some of these teams to share these drop zones. So, discipline as well as knowledge being shown by each and every single squad out there. But I really like what AKO did. And you were right. They did go in there for their usual pick of refinery. But instead of all dropping onto those platforms, they spread apart throughout the whole compound. Very risky, but this time, don't forget, they are aiming for the number 1 spot, man. And this is the interesting combo that we have got in here. This is the only duo, together. But the only reason why they have got this buddy system going on is because they are way too far apart from the other 2 players. But the other 2, they have split apart as well. This is a 2-1-1 formation being held on by AKO, and those players that are, not really playing the buddy system in the backgrounds of refinery, they have got the elevation of those platforms to depend on, and they don't really need to, keep close to each other. So very interesting strategy coming out here from AKO. Let's see exactly where that brings them, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. Having a lot of coverage when it comes to getting some loots, and as the compounds right here is a little bit spread out, that is a smart move from them. Now going into red right now, and this is an offense spot where in the initial engagement usually comes in because there's a lot of places right now that you can get loots right here, and usually most of the
Mm.
time 2 teams jump into the maze.
Oh yeah.
Rev,
Yes.
fortunately for them, no one just jump with them, and
Mm.
they have a chance to get all those things together, their flanks, their rotations, and we might be seeing them at the end of the final circle, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely. New Gen, unfortunate as they drop into this match this time round with just 3 players. They have not really been doing great in the competition because, there was just one saving grace that they could all
Mhm.
smile about, that they went last in the competition, because that was AV Crusaders, right? But yesterday, AV Crusaders managed to hit a record-breaking 10 kill for themselves, run in the whole day, in comparison to only 5 kills that they managed to pick up throughout the whole of last week. And just with that one performance, they managed to jump over New Gen, so they are now the bottom feeders of the competition.
Yeah, I mean, most of those who are the bottom really needs to pick it up. I mean, I think they already have their momentum. It's just more of the
Uh-oh.
application. But right now, it is a Monkey Tribe right now who is getting a few hits right there in New Gen's site, and a New Gen has been spotted right there from afar. So when we thought that New Gen was just taking this compound, this area for themselves, Monkey Tribe will be waiting for them as they move in forward. Well, if they move in forward, but Miracle right now is on the hunt, and the rest of the teams are still working their way. And Seika, another impressive member of Monkey Tribe, one
Mm,
of those that really give out the team's performance and take the lead when it comes to information gameplay as well as communication. So hopefully Seika will be able
yeah.
to bring this team to a different level once again on this match.
Who's next with the opportunity of a little bit of revenge here against auto knockout Ligers, who shut them down earlier and took them out of the competition a little prematurely. Who's next only managed to bag a total of 1 point thanks to AKO moments ago. So a good revenge here, most definitely one they will appreciate. Cheers, not much of a trigger discipline there, forcing Tokyo back. I don't know the intention of those shots, but he could have just played it a little bit more patiently and tried to secure a knock for himself, because it would have been a great knock where no one would have been able to reach Tokyo in time. No Fear, on the other hand, Hive almost taken down. Bloody Head, they are the ones who meet them at command post. And now when you step into command post, you have to be ready to face the team of Bloody Head.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bloody Hands is in there. They are the kings of command posts. Most of the time, this is their spot, and they know where to rotate. Now, having No Fear, as you can see, they're boxing them in one place, and it's a good thing that some of the teams were able to slip out from the clutches of Bloody Heads at this point. But the rush right now, 3 in front, 1 from behind. Bloody Heads is slowly getting this distance close. Morgana will be shot at in there, but Imperos will be heard as well as from one member from the other side. I think that was Mark or Maute right there, who's just waiting from the other side. No, their rotation will be done by Bloody Heads to pinch them in and probably use some of the utilities to grenade them and take them down one at a time, AJ. But Hive got in the first hot shot in there against Morgana and eliminating one of the members. And really unfortunate for Bloody Heads right there, when we thought they have the advantage, No Fear might be taking the best out of this team, AJ.
Oh, goodness me. Jacob from Eagle fell to his death, and now Myson gets killed off by AKO. What's going on? So Eagle Oblivion's now in a lot of trouble, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls. Reveyola's, on the other hand, taking a couple of pot shots against Who's Next. This might just turn out to be a 4-way situation off screen. But of course, as we focus in on Bloody Heads taking this fight against No Fear with the 1-up now against Bloody Head as they shut down Morgana prematurely. Bloody Heads really not hitting the high strides like they did last week. I think it's time for us to start calling them out again, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they are lagging in a little bit, and probably they missed us calling them out. It's just that they've been out of sight so far from the some points, and not really that much of impressive. Though we have been impressed already by Bloody Heads, but it's about time. It's about time that we call them out for them to improve, because it's getting close to the midway of the league series. And there you go. We have got Noho from far from above, getting those kills against Ego, AJ.
Yeah, and the guys are already 2 up right now in terms of aggressive plays coming out from AKO. Like, look at this beauty of a formation, right? As they drop in, they go in with a 2-1-1 split. They are fully done with looting up Refinery. They try to secure a couple of kills for themselves, and they immediately back away into a safer compound once they know exactly where the first zone is moving on into. It's all about the positioning for AKO Ligers. They know exactly how to go in here and win Kalahari over. If you don't have a great position, you're probably going to be bombing out. No Fear going in here to reposition themselves on that note against Bloody Heads a little bit better. Hive, it runs into the time turner, but nobody's home. A ring around the rosy. Mark finally gets knocked down, and Hive backs away into the maze of blue walls set up by them. All Christmas themed, the double vectors in hand. No Fear. There's no fear in them, but in the hearts of Bloody Heads, they are running with their heads stuck under. And this is just one more opportunity, but a great movement by Kalahari, and the shotgun manages to overcome the pressure by him.
There's only two members remaining from the side of No Fear, and Escanor right now is going to toe. Now the backup is coming in from the sides of Imperos, and it's a 1v2 situation. Here comes the push, and Galoy right now will be hit from, oh, there goes the blue wall to cover it up with only a few HP remaining, but two will be pinching them out. Galoy right now, the backside has been opened up, was able to heal up a little bit, but Escanor is not waiting for him to survive. It's now down to one for the sides of Bloody Heads. In 1v2 situation, I would say it's not really a very good exchange because they had to lose two members from that fight, but the impressiveness of how they go in and communicate, coordinate against that one member of Bloody Heads is really, really working for them, and hopefully they improve this further and like level up as they go in further into this league stages, AJ.
Yeah, but you know, Neptune, exactly how important Morgana is for the team. And without Morgana, without Maute in there to kind of go in and push the team forward, it was just a losing battle, right? And losing Morgana just prematurely in that fight, in their own compound of command post, clearly wasn't a situation that they wanted. And Maute could have gone in there for that backup, but it would have been at the expense of losing another Titan of Bloody Head as well. So I understand him just kind of keeping his distance from that engagement and just playing for placement points from this point on, because what else can you do? You still need to make sure your team doesn't bomb out way too badly after a terrible performance early on in these rounds. So great decision making coming through from the Bloody Head player. Earlier on in the first match, they only managed to pick up 6 points for themselves, 2 kills and 4 placement points. Hopefully, Maute can help them secure a much better position this time round. And now, Monkey Tribe, they will be able to spot a couple of players from the side of Equinox. But Equinox is going to be getting into a battle against VDR in a couple of seconds. Let's see if the Monkeys can benefit from this engagement.
Yeah, here we go. The Monkey Tribe right now is in here and switching over to Equinox. Equinox going against the Vindicators, and here comes Grenade coming from South, but no, another one came back against him. The Fusel needs to turn it around and go in for that rush to distract enemy who might be going in for that elimination, but the Fusel will be hit from side as well. Sorry, will be taking down the Fusel, the only one remaining, and Vindicators right now just eliminating one by one the members of Equinox, and the Fusel needs to get away. Yeah, unless he wants to go in for this fight against 3 members or 4 members of BDR, it will be very difficult. And there you go, the pinch has been done, and the first team eliminated right there will be Equinox with a very grueling battle in their place. Now going back to Monkey Tribe as we go, they still are in the same position earlier. I know they've heard the gunshots from the fight right there from the Vindicators, and well, the kill feed will know or will show them who will be surviving, so they know the Vindicators will be going against them later on if they are spotted. So hopefully Monkey Tribe will have their best play in hand. But as we go back to AKO, Nugent right now, Churs will be taken down, and Smiley is the one who do it, AJ.
Oh, what a response. This is a great response. This is a great revenge. Winda, Hacks, great nade. Oh, but Time Turner, smart play by Nugent, and they will be able to survive this a little bit longer. And now, Time Turner goes down. Hacks gets knocked down onto the ground. It's now the responsibility of Gwinda to save his friend, but he is not as fast as Hacks. He gets knocked down as well by Saya. This is what happens when you touch the players of AKO Ligers, but they still have to move on without Cheers. The 3-man trio now moving on into the next battle, and the next ones waiting for them might just be a full squad of VPH. Wiz already starting things off against them as Go Willem Views tries to step up their own gameplay as well, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Goblin needs to step up their gameplay, and they have a good position right now. They have a good elevation at this point, not really that high, wherein they might not spot some of the areas, as well as a good cover from behind. So, Wales right now is in the middle, smack dead in the middle of everyone, and they are the only one right now in the side of the next safe zone. Now, who's next might be their first victim, or I would say their first opponent who will be going in with them inside the zone. But we have BDR who are going in against a Monkey Tribe at this point. Going back to AKO, I think they really want to finish off a lot of teams right here. They want to beat their record that they have despite of only having 3 members, I think.
AKO now taking this tough fight. VPH all pushed into one small little compound. A couple of grenades can make the difference, but Kanoho only has got one. Two VPH players step on in front, but a glue wall will be able to save them. Oh, terrible angle out of the window. Freita now caught in. Kanoho cannot reach him. Takes down the glue wall, and the players of VPH, they run for their lives, and they will be able to save themselves with another glue wall. Double glue wall, as a matter of fact, just to prevent a grenade coming in here from Kanoho. Toby getting the job done on the other side, and they will go ahead and lose Seiya in the process as well. Kanoho knocked down onto the ground. Toby is the biggest loser here, and he decides to run with his tail between his legs, and that is the best decision AKO Ligers have made in this particular round so far as they try to play survival. But this save zone is hurting him way too much. Hopefully, Toby has got a plan here.
Yeah, well, Toby might be going in for like trying to avoid getting killed by anyone. There you go. We have Wiz right now. Wiz was the one who was able to go in for that kill. Bloodyhead has been eliminated as well from the far side. So BPH will be stuck from afar and will nowhere to go in because Wills right now had a good position trying to gatekeep anyone who's going in from outside the safe zone. Now they need to get their position a little bit further into the middle and get their covers, as well as they have only Smiley up and Eugen from behind, and then the rest of the teams might be fighting over on the other side. This might be a chance for Goblin Wills to get those picks off on those kills and then probably put themselves in the Booyah, AJ.
Oh, Embalore gets knocked down onto the ground. Smiley, can he secure this kill for himself? He is pushed away. He is backed into the wall, and Smiley gets taken out. Oh, Embalore gets shut down by the safe zone as well. And with Santino sneaks, they just couldn't save the guy. Go Willem Views with the 5 kills in here so far. They have to take on BDR in a couple of seconds as BDR shuts down Monkey Tribe. They will be able to stake this backstab with the shotgun. Sneaks tries to get in there sneaky, but he gets shut down either way by the one and only Zio. Santino will be able to find Sneaks as well, and this is going to be a 2-player push now. WizKid still alive and kicking. Go Willem Views needs to find a better position for themselves. Too much of chaos now for them to handle, Neptune.
And we have Who's Next going in for the kill back to back to back. They're going against Revayolos right now, and the Tokyo is just healing up. Funky right now is losing a few HP from the side right there, but a good position. No one will be sighting them unless Rev tries or decides to go in above them. Now we have Santino trying to go in against the Bayard, and there goes Santino going down. Wiz the only one remaining, and Blake has Wiz taken down, and Wiz will be healing up. Wiz will be taken down once again, and unfortunate for Wiz, who's next in just waiting and seeing the light of day, taking the booyah in this game, AJ.
Oh, what a play. What a booyah by Who's Next. But step aside, Who's Next. Step aside. Y'all sit down for a moment, all right? We want to see Go Willem Views because that was a tremendous play by Wiz before she got shut down, man. Dude, it was a Who's Next is excited. Great play, boys. Absolute great play towards the very end, right? And Tokyo, just like you said, Neptune, he was losing a couple of HP just at the very corner of the safe zone, but it was a great elevation, great position to be holding onto. And he was just able to take that final fight. And the problem was Go Willem Views was already caught up in action a little bit before them. And, you know, Who's Next? They were able to take that approach from the back and shut down Wiz. But a solo versus trio, that girl is on fire, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, changing into a bush, just avoid gunshots, that is a smart move. We've seen that before, but no one really caught up to that, especially when they're going against Wiz. So, yeah, WizKid, the right word for her, the WizKid right there. So, hopefully we'll see more of them, but once again, congratulations to Who's Next for taking that booyah. Smart move from them. A really, really calculated move. They know a lot of things is happening. They only have 2 teams remaining from themselves, and they can just pick off some of those remaining afterwards to get that booyah, and that's what they did, AJ.
It's a classic Kalahari victory. It's a classic Kalahari victory because they used the biggest factor of the map to their advantage. It's the elevation, and the elevation on Kalahari is just not, diversified by, tall hills and then immediate slopes right after. You have got different elevations of different heights in all around the map, and they just held on to the edge of that cliff. Very, very tiny elevation where all they needed to do was just crouch so they're not spotted. And that's just what kept them alive. They healed up, waiting, biding their moment in those final seconds, right? A little bit of luck needs to be involved here as well, but a majority of those parts is plotting your way in towards that final circle based on pure random stuff that the Battle Royale throws at your face. And this time, Who's Next, they managed to step it up. And a lot of these bigger teams, they kind of got snuffed out, unfortunately, at the early stages. And for AKO Ligers, just when you thought that they were able to, make a comeback in here, let's take a quick look and see exactly how they got shut down through these highlights.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start for them. They have a good position from above. It's just that when they went down, there's a lot of teams who's just waiting for them. Now, this is where we saw Bloody Heads, who has been eliminated. But it's no fear right now. I think one thing that I would say about the no fear, yes, they were able to go and take 3 against Bloody Heads right there. But they went in 1 at a time until that moment where the duos need to pinch one member of Bloody Head. That's the success of that plan, but they lost 2 members. Now, Equinox has been eliminated right now. AKO good, still having a good position, and from above, this is their map, I would say. So the elevation is their advantage. It's just that that moment that they went down, get a little bit closer, and also being chased by the safe zone, that was a very difficult spot for them, AJ.
And, Go Willem Views, they were in a great position to perhaps grab the victory here for themselves. And I feel like Mbalore could have most definitely been a huge factor of that play, right? And he just got a little over-aggressive. They tried to look for the kill in the wrong place. Wiz overall was the MVP of the day. And remember what... Oh, my lord. WizKid. Oh, WizKid. That's why I said, Who's Next? Please sit down. With all due respect, Go Willem Views, they take that number 1 spot. 9 with the placement points, but the aggression, the smarts from the WizKid. 6 kills in total, 19 points. They managed to grab the top spot. Who's Next? Obviously doing a lot this time round with the 5 kills, 17 points altogether in that second place. The Vindicators in the 3rd spot with the 13 points. Ref Aeolus with the 4th position with 11 points. And here's the thing, AKO Ligers this time round bombing out, bro, and they bombed out bad because just 1 on the placement points, but they managed to sandbag themselves with the points here, with the 6 coming in just purely from those skills, Nephew.
Yeah, Ego Oblivion still on the placement. They are doing this play pretty well, staying in the middle of the pack. Hopefully they'll be able to move it up a little bit more. Monkey Tribe in there and on 7 with 5 placement with only 1 kills. Bloody Head on the other hand with a battle that they went into early on that part, taking 2, and then also a few ones that one member was able to get away. BPH right now in here with 3 placement point and only 2 kill points. Same with New Gen with 5 points, but at least New Gen has 1 kill in here and a good placement for their team. No placement for No Fear, but 3 points for them after that battle with Bloody Heads. Unfortunate for Equinox, they had been eliminated at this point early, and no kills goes into their name.
And just when you thought that AKO Ligers would be able to get the best of Go Willem Views, Go Willem Views once again leaves them in the dust as they turn on that activation switch. And the activation switch, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, was just way too hot. And you know what? It's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate that we saw the WizKid, step it up in round number 2, because if we had just seen consistency from the side of Go Willem Views in round 1 as well, and AKO Ligers not really pop off, we would have gotten our wish, man. I think the MVP would have most definitely gone over to the WizKid. But we all know exactly how AKO Ligers performed. 34 points, the 22 bomb in the competition. And that was nothing short of mind-blowing as they grabbed the Booyah in that first map. It was Who's Next, by the way, that grabbed the Booyah on map number 2, just being outshined by the one and only Go Willem Views. In the number 1 spot, right back, Neptune, 197 points, 5 Booyahs to their name. Wait.
Yeah, and they pick up a lot of points above the rest of the teams, like AKO Ligers. It's really a good jump for them, taking those kill points, and they were able to overtake EV Radicals as well. Though EV Radicals really didn't play, but it's a good jump for these 2 teams. Now, Eva Radicals, Veda Esports will still was waiting in there, and I think they will be making their move. But as we move forward, we have Bloody Heads still in the fifth spot, BPH Velocity right next to them. Who's next? Who's move up a little bit with the Booyah that they have. The Vindicators, Rev Ayolos making up the first half of this overall standing, AJ.
Yeah, Axis in the 10th position, Ego Oblivions, Equinox, Monkey Tribe, No Fear, Black Angel, Trot WYS, AV Crusaders, as well as New Gen, wrapping up the total ranking. But let's take a quick look at some of the highlights here, right? We want to focus in on Eva Radicals. This team, they've not played just yet. They're in Group C. But in game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all the way down to the closing of our day, Eva Radicals, they will have the opportunity. The question is, will they be able to step it up today? Will they be able to rise over Govil Views, who have been able to hit their stride? AKO Ligers, they found a little bit of this momentum for themselves as well. And all of a sudden, they are one of the top dogs of the competition. And AKO Ligers will still be playing in our following match when the players of Eva Radicals step in. So I'm really excited to see what a fully activated AKO Ligers can do against Eva Radicals, because yesterday was a down day for Eva Radicals. I'm expecting them to step it up today, right? Veda Esports might just turn on today as well. It has been quite a somber moment or somber day for them yesterday. So a lot to still expect here at the Free Fire Challenges Philippines Day 4, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, a lot to look forward to for this teams. Now we have here the overall standings, and we are preparing for the next match to happen. Now, for the MVP of like we've seen all throughout the league stages, AJ, every after two matches we have MVP, and there you go, we have Kanoho once again in here showing up on the screen. AKO Ligers with a damage of 5,079 right here, 9 kills and 11 assists and a hit rate of 59.9. A lot of improvement right there for this for the stats, AJ.
I'm just mind blown by Kanoho, man. This guy just obliterated my brain right now. I mean, ignore the damage. Let's take a look at the number of kills. Super impressive. But the assist, the number of times this guy helped some of his teammates go in there for those knocks. He was the biggest contributor in the 22 kills that they've managed to secure in that game number 1. He was a huge contributor, and the hit rate just shows exactly how an accurate assassin this Kanoho is from the side of AKO Ligers. Once again, Neptune, the 10th position they were in, they jumped up into the 2nd spot, they kind of dropped back into 3, and now they're just floating around in those positions, right? They want to they dropped into the 4th position, I believe, as we wrapped up yesterday. So now they want to be fighting in here for the top 3, which I believe with the record-breaking win, the record-breaking booyah of the competition so far, as we opened up the day, was more than enough. But now it's a matter and a battle of, can they also start fighting for the number 1 spot? Because it was a two-way party, and all of a sudden, it's just broken into a 3-legged race, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think with a approach that AKO Liger is doing right now, they are on their way. They are playing it smart, not really that aggressive, having Kanoho in there, having the trigger discipline as well as that much assist. I think that trigger discipline really helped out with the assist in there for the side of Kanoho. Thus, the damage being done by some of the teammates right there, really coordinating well and getting that much kills right now. AKO Ligers, I think they held off for a very long time for the previous day that we've seen, and it's a good thing that they are stepping up right now. But another step up that they need to do is in the next matches that we're seeing, wherein Eva Radicals and Veda Esports will be stepping in, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And when Eva Radicals comes right back into the fray, they obviously want to maintain consistency, because, you know, yesterday was a day where Govil Views just really hit one of their best momentums in the competition, where usually we kind of make fun of them, where we say they hit really low, then they hit high, they hit low again, they hit high. They broke away from that pattern where they started off slow, and then 3 games back to back, they really secured great points for themselves. But as they were doing that, hitting the double booyah as well, They just could not find it in themselves to overcome the position of the players of Eva Radicals. Because as we ended up yesterday, Eva Radicals still had an advantage of those 4 points, and they still secured that number 1 spot by the time we reach the closing of the day. And obviously, that would really be tickling the players of Go Willem Views. And you know, they just keep getting teased with that number 1 spot. And every time they think they have secured it, Neptune, they get kicked back down.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a trigger for them to keep the consistency, like do what is working for them. If before it might be just a matter of warming up or really finding their way into these matches, does the inconsistency, doing bad, doing well, doing bad, doing well, they now have the motivation wherein they know they can go well and well and well back to back to back, taking a few booyahs in there back to back to back as well. And well, I'm not denying it. They have a lot of booyahs in their name already. So kills, blood, booyahs. They are there. They are on their way. Probably eliminating Eva Radicals earlier on if they can. I know it is a possibility, but it's still a matter of probably Eva Radicals will be back on the horse right now compared from what we've seen yesterday.
Absolutely. And of course, in order to witness the clash between the two titans, Go Willem Views as well as Eva Radicals, we will have to be a little patient. But here is my biggest pet peeve right now. We have got 3 titans in 3 different groups, right? And there is no way they will be in a match all at the same time. That's my only pet peeve. But as you guys know, the format of Free Fire, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've got 3 groups and we have got 4 weeks to complete the league stages. After 2 weeks, we usually have a shuffle of the groups. So we do not know exactly what the gods of RNG have in store for us, but that is something I definitely want to see. Potentially all these 3 teams in one group, or 2 of them in one group and then the other in a totally different one. You obviously will have all 3 of them in one lobby for sure in that way, right?
Yeah.
That is most definitely going to be a game changer. Good or bad, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just one thing that I'm thinking of, if that happens, AJ, I'm thinking about those in the lower part of the leaderboards. Because if there's only these 3 teams clumped together in one matches, and the rest will just be fluid for them if they are really popping off. And we've seen a lot of teams already, especially from those in the from the top, who are really moving further as we move along towards the end of the league stages. So guys, we're calling out once again those at the bottom of the leaderboard. It's not that we're saying you're bad, but we're just asking for you to do a little bit more better for your chance to go into the finals.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, make the adjustment like AV Crusaders have made. For example, they were focusing on the placement points all throughout the competition so far. And when they made that change to get aggressive in the competition, to start focusing on the kill points instead, they immediately, for the first time, they jumped away from that final spot. They were no longer the bottom feeder of the competition. They managed to get over New Gen, right? And now New Gen is the ones who are playing passive. So, I mean, it's the definition of insanity. We've talked about this a few times already, Neptune. You do the same thing again and again and again, and then you try to expect something different from it. It's not going to work. You have to continue. And it's not a must to win the league. It really isn't, because Free Fire isn't about just coming in here and focusing purely on that number 1 team. Free Fire has never been about that. We have always been about the growth, the progress of these teams throughout these competitions that Free Fire brings in year after year. And, you know, just like Bloodyhead, as we use them as an example, look at the trajectory, look at the growth of this team, man. They used to be a bottom feeder of the past, and now they are one of the top dogs. They've still managed to hold on to the top 5, even if they haven't really been performing in these past few games, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, consistency of being in the middle right there when you're bad and then just popping off when you're good, that is a good way to do it. And not really standing off in there, well, there might be a chance where they might be taken down early, but at least put on a little bit more fight in this game. As we go in, AJ, onto the next map. We're back in Bermuda right now. A different set of groups will be fighting, and a new story might be building up at this point. But a lot of stories have been we've seen a lot of stories already from the previous days, as well as the previous matches that we've seen. This is just a next chapter, and hopefully some of the teams will not end that with just being there doing the plays and just staying as they are, especially for those at the bottom. We
Yeah,
want them to
yeah.
have their own flip notes in this book of Free Fire Challenger Philippines. So it's your time to show us that you have what it takes to impress all the fans, all the survivors out there.
So can someone tell me what is Weite Esports doing? Splitting into a 2-1-1 into 3 different compounds. Confidence is key, but look at Barba moving straight towards him. And now the players of EVA Radicals in a similar situation as well. I understand the mechanical capabilities of these teams, but sometimes they tend to push it a little bit too far. Now, Fura, he does have the shotgun on him as he tries to get away from Sorry. He has got an assault rifle, a double assault rifle on his hand, so that means he has got the range. Fura has got a double shotgun on his end, which means he has got the ability to spray down these players, but not really be able to cover those shots from afar. So he desperately needs a little bit of backup, and I'm pretty sure that information has been flown through. Black Angels, on the other hand, they will be taken on Trot WYS. A couple of initial shots being pulled out. We see the beat being dropped as well for the extra boost of speed, as well as the recovery of HP. A little premature from Gradient since it's not really getting anywhere, but let's see exactly how they manage this, because Black Angel have been having quite a tough time. But the saving grace here is Trot WYS has been struggling as well.
Yeah, I mean, Trot WYS has a great potential to go and take it, but it's really not happening. On the other hand, Black Angels, we've seen them play it passively, get those placements, so there's still better chance from them, as what we mentioned for the side of AB Crusaders. So right now they're doing a smart move. They're really not engaging that much, still sticking together and trying to back off a little bit, getting a better position for them, and probably surprise one of these members of Trot WYS. Monkey's the only one, or probably target for these teams, unless those other teams, the 3 members in there who are spread out in Pochino, will be rushing in on this area. But Shanks has visuals on this information, will be relayed, the rotation will be done. It's more of how Black Angels defend themselves at this point.
Black Angels, they are hightailing out of this compound. They want nothing to do with Trot WYS. In fact, they want nothing to do with anybody. They want to focus purely on placement points. I do not blame them, but they also have to remember 47 of 53 points in the competition so far has been from placements. They only have 6 kills, the least number of kills throughout the whole of the Free Fire Challenges Philippines. They need to start fighting.
Yeah, they need to start fighting, because we've seen them. They scour around looking for loots, waiting for their chance, but the chance doesn't really open up for them unless they take it. So, and when they take it, hopefully they hold their ground and probably get in position, a better position to be able to pick up or heal up anyone who was in there being taken down. Because at some moment, I would say, and this is nothing against, I have nothing against Black Angels right now. But the moment that a team like touches them, it's like they all fall down. So hopefully
Yeah.
they will be able to improve that, not just on just on their placement rotations and the placement points rotation, but the mechanical skills as well, and their tactics to go on the offensive.
I would really like to commend the players of EVA, because, dude, how in the world did they get away? And how did they run away so freaking fast? Fura, the absolute ninja, gets away from that encounter, no scratches on him whatsoever, together with the rest of his group now. And EVA Radicals will be able to, as a squad, put on a lot of pressure to these other teams. Now, it's just unfortunate that they didn't really go in there for the rush, because I believe that information that they had at that point of time would be sufficient to shut down Fura. Clearly, they didn't know exactly who it was. Maybe that would have given them a little bit of extra motivation. But as I talk about motivation, it is exactly what Who's Next has in them as they try to get into the top 5 at the very least. They spot on the players of AB Crusaders. What better way for Who's Next to start this particular lobby off? Because AB Crusaders, although they have started finding some kills, they're not really apex predators of the competition.
Yeah, may well not yet. Probably we'll have to find out after this who will survive, who's next, who are in here with the momentum. They got a good start right now in this game, and hopefully they'll be able to continue on this match. Avery Crusaders were in. Well, we'll have to find out. Is this a on for the aggressiveness or an on for the passiveness and placement point game? So we will be finding that out later on as this team get closer to each other. But I'm seeing right now AV Crusaders being passive, AJ.
Yeah, let's see exactly what this passiveness will be able to bring them. They are waiting for the push coming in from who's next. Hawkeye hey, oversteps. Punish instantaneously. Oh, the kill from Papa Zeus as well. Getting over aggressive, but Funky will meet him. And Papa Zeus now on the ground. Tokyo with that backup. And Papa Zeus pays a high price as he does not manage to get out of that balcony before that glue wall was pulled up. And now Funky shuts this down. Tokyo right behind him for that backup as well. And AB Crusaders, they have to back away from this. But look at who's dropping by. AKO Ligers. They want to pick up a few kill points early in the competition as well.
Yeah, they heard the gunshots, and I think Churz right now is in charge of getting the information, finding out if the battle is already over or if they have a chance to go on the third party. And as we see their Churz from the minimap, they push in and then back away. That moment that they probably spotted an enemy or probably heard that there are no gunshots happening. So this might be a trigger for them to rush in, thinking that it's already done for here. But here we go. We have Seiya right now, who's meeting up with the Black Angels. They're fortunate enough to get away earlier from who's next, but I think they are getting a little bit too close against AKO Ligers. And Churz right now will be on the run once again, getting a lot more information. And the high ground really is their advantage, AJ. Or they're using the high ground always to their advantage. So hopefully this is not the fault for them because, as we mentioned, when you're on the high ground, it's easy for you to get hit on the head.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But even with all of the disadvantage, they play it really, really safely. There's a lot of these containers up there on the bridge, not really a need to waste the glue walls. As a matter of fact, you see each of these players, they have about 6 glue walls on them, and that basically means they are all stacked up for an engagement. But it is all about choosing which fight you want to get involved in, and just like you said, Neptune, just overextending, as a matter of fact, getting that information for the rest of his team members as they try to catch up with him. Now, Cheers will be able to send through that info that Axis is in the vicinity. Nathan might get caught out here. Seiya in the best particular position to catch him off guard. And Nathan, I don't think he is not breaking a sweat sitting down in that little corner trying to not be spotted. But who's next? They might be, in a disadvantageous position here. Yes, they're holding on to a great compound, but VD are a super aggressive team. They can take on a 4 versus 3 situation here unless who's next strikes first as VDR tries to close this gap.
Yeah, and speaking of closing the gap, we have AV Crusaders right now closing their gap against Black Angels. They were able to go and take down one already. Arf is in there. It was just waiting for a chance against Chai, and I think they have fled the scene. So they're not aware that there's only 2 members right here from AV Crusaders. It probably is a move for AV Crusaders to push everyone out or probably just fight their way in despite of having these members. And yeah, if they lose this round, at least they can prepare the next round with a full squad. So AV Crusaders with 2 members just roaming around waiting for their chance to pounce, going in for the placement point. And as we've seen once again, Black Angels is trying to avoid any of the engagement, AJ.
Morgana this time has to play it safe. I mean, it was not his fault that he got taken down a little bit early on, but just playing in here with a trio versus squads, similar to AV Crusaders as well as Axis and Eugen. What's up with these teams, man? Of the multiple trio versus squads going on here, Neptune.
Yeah, well, not quite sure, but hopefully it will be better on upcoming, or probably this might be a good advantage for them as well to like find a different tactic just in case you have lost one and just assume one has been taken out without giving out a point. That is just the best case scenario that you can put out on your mind when you go in this play.
It's a terrible way to look at it. But it's I get where you're coming from, man. Give us think that you already had an over aggressive team member that died super early, or maybe you had a fall death or something. Bloody head. Mark trying to get away from VDR now. No idea how this situation just broke down, but VDR is hot on his tail, and Mark just trying to find a little bit of a safe compound for himself. In and out through those houses, using those windows as he gets away, turning around at the very final moment. Mark is able to shut down Cyborg, and the kill is stolen away from Funky, but it doesn't matter. Bloody head, they are happy that VDR has suffered one death either way, and this is a trio versus trio versus trio, a three-way between three trios.
Well, Morgana has been taken down in there. Hopefully, he will be picked up right now. And yeah, the bait tactic is in their work, but not their favor. They didn't get that 1 point. But the trio versus trio, as you mentioned, might be might be continuing on. We have a Black Angels right now also in there, a little bit too close, probably getting information. Not quite sure why they need to get information so far. Probably
I'm not sure why too, bro.
Because we've seen them. They always get away from the fight. They don't want to take an engagement, two engagement actually that they've skipped. And there you go, Kaisi has been taken down already. But Tokyo, and they're going in as well as the fusel for the hit. Reagan is down, and New Gen is here with a grenade in front of them. And who might be taking down once again? We'll have to wait, AJ, as how this will end against New Gen and Equinox.
Oh, yeah, boy. Managing to shut down Winda. Smart plays coming through. That was just a great knock, but Winda now not getting picked up. Yeah, boy, finishes him off. Hacks with a shotgun, just closing down the distance into the time turner. But as he steps into the time turner, he gets eliminated with a very swift movement of the melee. Defusal with the shutdown, and Equinox just stepping up in front. But Trot WYS stands before them as well. And Equinox might be able to continue this momentous in terms of all of that aggression. Bloody Head closing down the distance between themselves as AKO. I don't know if that's a great idea, but if they are able to catch out Toby first, Morgana will be able to put them in a great position to pick the Booyah up from this situation, because AKO most definitely one of the apex predators in this competition, and Bloody Head, it's been a while since they've tasted that Booyah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they need to move a little bit. And here we go. We have Black Angels now, who's stuck in the corner, who will be taken out with that grenade. Unfortunate play for them, but they were playing a little bit too passive, and going against AKO Likers in there is a disadvantage for them. No, the placement will not be going in their favor. And right now, they have Bloody Heads right now in our screen. AV Liger or AV Crusaders might be in there rushing into them with only 2 members. This might be a free point for them, because we've seen Bloody Heads who's really hot for those kills, but not really making it, AJ.
Neptune, I have to correct you. They were not taking on the whole of AKO. They were taking on Kanoho. They were only taking on Kanoho. LPDR just trying to get the best of Adobe, and it just wasn't going to be possible. Unknown shut down a little too easily. AKO really bagging those kills now for themselves. BDR's not going to have a great time here. Just knocks down Zeo as well, and that's going to be the final one for them to shut down before they can knock BDR out of this lobby, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But as I say that, Bloody Head just trying to close the gap between them, catching all of these players, using that bridge as the perfect cover as they try to take down AKO.
Yeah, we have AKO right now. I mean, it's really smart from them for the movements. As you can see, they're trying to take anyone, like any covers, get kills one at a time, not really going in aggressive, just like what we keep telling that's not their move. But right now we have Churs, who is coordinating with their teammates, and there you go. Mark has been taken down. Churs right now in the rush, but the glue wall will stop him and is in a chase for one more member of Bloody Heads. The Mark has been taken down right there by Churs, and Eva Radical. Oh my goodness, Eva Radicals just went in against Veda Esports and got eliminated instantaneously. A little bit too close in battle. That's what we're looking at right there, and we'll also have access into the side of Veda Esports. So 4 teams already around this area, AJ, and carnage is going to happen.
All I hear you say is AKO Ligers might just be able to pick up the number 1 spot. And it is Gal who gets the nade onto Daymoon, but a great time turner will be able to save them. But look at this. Cheers, just riding his bike into the time turner, knocking them out. And he will be able to support Kanoho, who knocks down Let's Go. AB Crusaders have been eliminated thanks to the save zone, but Forbits is still alive and kicking. He can't go in here for the save because AKO comes through. And Kanoho puts the final shot into Let's Go and shuts him down. Saya really low on that HP, and he needs to top it right back up. And the opponent's right in front this time. It's going to be Access Toby taking the fight all alone, and AKO Ligers most definitely in a prime position to secure yet another booyah for themselves. The biggest question here is how many kills will they end this particular round with, because they most definitely have done a lot for themselves to rise up to that number 1 spot now.
It's quite surprising when we were looking at the minimap earlier when I had it over to, there's a lot of teams right there, but AKO was the only one left as Axis just moved away from that fight, and they know having AKO right there, kill after kill on the kill feed, they need to back away, but they are being chased right now as we look in there from the south, and then as they move forward towards the middle of the safe zone, Equinox will be waiting for them, as well as who's next, and Yado is going in for those kills against Trot WYS. So in a moment, I think it is only 3 teams who will be battling this out. Axis is already out at this point, and AKO is going for those elimination, and Trot WYS is also eliminated. So Equinox, who's next, and AKO might be the last 3 teams that we're looking at, that will be looking at, AJ.
Oh, smart play coming in here from Zhao Neptune. He was caught in a tough situation, having to take on AKO all alone. He makes a smarter decision, repositioning himself, and now he has got this boulder to protect him from AKO, and he will be able to help his team members out against Who's Next as well. They want to secure a few kills in here and potentially the booyah for themselves. Great nade coming through. Zhao with the double nade now and triple nade now. No effect whatsoever because he has no vision as to where he's tossing those nades, and Zhao might have just wasted all 3 of those nades. If only he had been a little bit more patient with those plays, maybe he could have bagged a few extra precious moments for himself. Yeah, boy, down at the very bottom of this hill, but AKO now, they secure the prime position in the final zone, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good position in there for AKO. Toby in there for the hit against the Fusel from afar. The Vindicators has been taken out by Tokyo. And who's next? And Equinox as well as AKO. A good position for AKO, despite having 3 members, a good cover with this boulder as well as the elevation. So hopefully they will not be taken out by a sniper from below. And all they have to do right now is to wait for everyone else to get pushed and get away from those compounds. They probably pick them off one at a time, as we've seen. It is Yeah Boy in there from the bottom of this hill, taking that kill. It's now left to 2 teams right here, 3 against 3, AJ.
Yeah, Equinox now trying to get this booyah for themselves, but AKO just have got the better elevation. And although it is easier to take that headshot, the prerequisite for that is your opponents need to misplay this, misposition themselves. Toby from the back now. Zhao! What a knock onto Toby! Expensive kill! And Zhao, the MVP of Equinox, now putting them a couple of steps ahead. How AKO Ligers shut down with the Zhao gameplay, and Equinox securing yet another booyah for themselves. Oh, sorry, my apologies. It's the first one of the competition for them, Neptune.
Oh my goodness. And as we see Equinox right now, and yes, it is MVP. The Fusel is the MVP right there, but in the final moment of that game, it was Zhao who was really on fire. I mean, yeah, only using a shotgun, taking 3 kills at that final moment, and against AKO. So kudos to Equinox right here, taking this booyah from themselves, a chance for them to move up on the leaderboards. And really, when I thought Equinox has a good advantage for them, oh, it's mind-blowing that I mean, AKO has a good advantage against them. Equinox was able to turn it around, get better position, and move the higher ground against them, and a surprise hit from behind. Smart move from Zhao right there.
I'm so curious as to what the final leaderboard is looking right now after that particular fight, but we are not going to be able to see the overall leaderboard just yet because, AKO Ligers, they were in a position where they were quite far away from Go Willem Views, but the blessing in disguise here is Group A really isn't inside of this match. They will have to stay patient and wait for us until we can see the final kickoff of those two matches, right? Match number 5 and 6. But Go Willem Views, they've already done a lot for themselves. So this is the opportunity, the moment for AKO Ligers to collect as many points for themselves as possible. And at the same time, make sure two teams, mainly Eva Radicals and Vete Esports, make sure they don't grab a lot of points for themselves. And now Vete Esports played a huge part in making sure Eva Radicals is definitely not one for AKO Ligers to worry about early on in this competition, because I believe they took out Eva Radicals in the 10th spot earlier on, Neptune.
Yeah, I believe so as well. It was Veda Esports who took down Eva Radicals, and we were quite I mean, I was quite surprised in there, seeing them being eliminated earlier on that fight, and when we were expecting them, I mean, looking forward for them to see and how well will they work right now. It is really unfortunate, but Veda Esports still maintaining their position, but it's a different team that we're seeing from this two, like Beta Esports, Eva Radicals, that we expected from the start of this whole league stages. So
yeah,
I'm not quite sure if they're just toning it down right now and probably move it up later on. Hopefully they continue on and giving us more entertaining and good gameplays so that the story of those on the top will be a little bit more interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And this was, of course, the fight between Vede Esports and AKO. They found the perfect opportunity. We saw that bike just run through the time turner. And overall, right, even when we look at the opportunity that Vede Esports took over Eva Radicals, it was opened up by a perfect grenade by McRory as we were looking at the kill feed. As you know, it's so much of action going on the battlefield, right? But of course, as usual, once McRory opens up these matches, it's just so beautiful to watch him just let all of the other players fall like domino. But it is a very impressive run by Team Equinox, I have to say. A team that has not been able to hit their full stride. Not only do they manage to bag placement points, but a very convincing golden ratio coming in from them as well, getting 11 kill points with a total of 23 to finish off match number 3. AKO Ligers with 18 points in that second spot. A lot for them, if you ask me, in the current position that they are sitting in order to catch up to Go Willem Views and, of course, put the distance between themselves as well as Eva Radicals. Who's next in the third position with the 13 points? Vete Esports, Vindicators, as well as Access in the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions, Neptune.
Yeah, we have Trot WIS moving up a little bit more above the rest with the 6th placement point. We have AV Crusaders with 5 points, 3 kill points right here, and 2 placement points. Bloody Heads, unfortunate for them, no kill points, but they had 3 placement points. Eva Radicals, how we mentioned, placing on 10. So you were right. They only have 1 placement point right there, but no kill points after being taken down by Vita Esports. New Gen and Black Angels, unfortunate for them, 0 points for this round. So hopefully those in there, especially New Gen and Black Angels, work out on those mechanical skills, not just only getting on the placements points, probably moving them up a little bit more, not always on the 11th and 12th with the additional kill points that they can do, AJ.
Yeah, man. I mean, I understand that Black Angel, they are really focusing on picking up as many placement points for themselves as possible. But some of these other bottom feeders, they have been on to the exact same strategy. With the main difference is they do not shy away from battles as much as Black Angels do. And just like what we saw in this round, the moment Black Angels, every single time they come across a situation where they have to take a gunfight, the first decision that they make is that they run away. They try to get away from the position as quickly as possible so as to not face a quick wipeout, an early shutdown. And, although I understand, it's just not going to be helping them whatsoever in any ways at all to be able to rise up the leaderboard. But let's see if or not they will be able to make the adjustment because, dude, it's quite a lot of adjustments to ask for because, not being able to find kills in the competition, it's got a lot to do with your mechanical capabilities, which means, many, 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 many more hours of free fire grinding needs to be invested by these Black Angel players, nephew.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more of the confidence that they will be. Well, yeah, I would say that I did comment earlier the moment that they go in against a team that they usually are being taken out, but
Yeah.
I think it's more of the confidence level that they have. It's because they keep running away from the fight and not really getting the confidence to go against a team, thus not really focusing on those skills.
Yeah.
So we have seen already one match from Group B and C. Well, we'll have to see further as we go again on to the next part of the series. But we are going in for a quick break. So I am Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, together with the Musacho AJ. Will be back in a bit after the break. Welcome back, survivors, to the Free Fire Challenger Philippines. Halfway through the competition, and the road to the top of the leaderboard is on for the teams as we continue on in the second half of today's series. I am Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, together with me, the amazing Mustachio AJ, bringing you the commentary on all the action that will be happening.
Absolutely, man. And of course, if you guys are wondering exactly how are we getting all of this fantastic action, it is thanks to our partners, because Free Fire Challenger Philippines, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, is sponsored none other by the Infinix Note 11S, a powerful smartphone with the Helio G96 Ultra gaming processor. And you get to fire up your game and get this now for only 9,990 pesos, G.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a good and affordable smartphone for everyone that they can use in tournaments just like this. And once again, Infinix Mobile is the official sponsor of the Free Fire Challenger Philippines. So, fire up your game with Infinix's best-selling gaming smartphone, the Infinix Note 11S.
Yeah, and 120 hertz on a mobile phone at that price point is just close to, I wouldn't say impossible, but most definitely not all that is simple to find in the market today, man. Making the Note 11S most definitely one of a must-have if you want to jump into the world of gaming, be it as a pro player or as a content creator. And Free Fire, super compatible on that mobile phone. But of course, that is about our sponsors. Let's take a look and talk a little bit about those who have been making this competition worth watching. The players, those teams. Because look, as the last time we took a peek at the overall standings, Go Views, they were standing on top. And AKO, they needed quite a number of points. I believe at about 18 points in order to catch up with Go Views. And in the previous round, they didn't manage to do more than 18. They got exactly that, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly that. So I think it will be a little bit interesting once we've seen that the gameplay, or the overall standing after that. But let's go into Kalahari right now. This is the second map wherein Group B and C will be playing, and it will be an interesting end to see who will be ending up on the top, because as we go in and find out who's on the leaderboard, there's a lot of expectation that will be set from the team. But expectation might be set, but there comes BDR, who's not really expecting a fight against Axis, going in for those kills and being able to take them down. But no, unfortunately, a no-zone win remaining, and Mr. Ong is really doing some damage in this fight, and Unknown needs to run away very, very far.
Yeah, sit down, Vindicators. Axis is in the house. What a way to turn around, man. Because, look, quite honestly, the Vindicators have been very, very aggressive in the competition so far. And compared to Axis, most definitely very aggressive, right? Axis, on the other hand, a team that hasn't really been able to sustain in a lot of these gunfights, and very early on, with not much of resources on their end, this is a huge taking for them. And Nathan has done a lot, but Führer, once again, from the side of Eva Radicals, not really sticking together with the rest of his teammates. And Führer is going to be spotted out now. Nathan looks away. Talk about timing, my friend.
I mean, perfect time to look away when just Führer was just crossing the street. But I think the information has already been relayed. Hopefully, Axis is in a good position right now, and also a good plan, because I think Dory is going in. But no! Nathan in there almost taken down with only a few HP. It's a good thing that they were able to pull out the time turner, but here comes Anamo from afar. Führer will be taken down, but Anamo will be going in from those gunshots, and the pickup will be on. Axis is still 4-man squad strong, but the 3-man of Eva Radicals going against them, well, I think it's still tipping the scales right now. We'll have to find out as it ends, but knowing that this is Eva Radicals, I think Axis is backing a little bit further from the rest of the team.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a understatement right now to say that Axis is on freaking fire. But now they truly have a fire under their butts, because they need to run out of this compound, because they've pissed off Eva Radicals. You do not touch Führer and not face the fury of Tanamo. Tanamo looking for those shots from afar. And as you can see, Barba is just trying to rotate onto the right-hand side, trying to flank these players as they try to get out of this compound as well. But Eva Radicals, they now understand that Axis has just gotten a little bit too far away. And instead of wasting time looking for some revenge, they try to play a little bit of a better round in here. So good luck to Eva Radicals as they try to sustain these matches. But VDR now walking straight towards Axis right again. But Axis, they will be pressured by Zhao, and Zhao gets the instant kill right after the knockdown as well. Nathan taking this fight up against Unknown, and Gal will be caught off by Zhao. Great position as he holds right behind this wall. And just like that, the tables have been turned onto Axis.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been expected that when you hear gunshots, our other teams will be rushing in, and Gal will be taken out right there, and Sorry will take that point at this game. Now, we'll have to see how well Axis will be rotating against Equinox right now, because, well, we've seen a VDR on the other side waiting for them, as that might be a chance for them to go in and take back a point after what happened earlier, but Equinox is not facing down. They are just going in for this rush, and Nathan is just inside his compound, a little bit too far from one of their team members as well, who is at the bottom of this hill where Sorry is. So we'll have to find out how this ends, and will they be able to survive or probably fight off against Equinox?
Yeah, 2 kills so far. Equinox, look at this flank, man. I really love this setup coming in from Equinox. But the problem here is Axis, just like the rat analogy that we pulled out yesterday. They've run into these tunnels, and now Axis going out there. Surprise, surprise, says Mr. Ong. And it was just enough. They managed to knock down Za as well as Yaboy, but it wasn't enough as Who's Next gets eliminated right off screen. Axis, unfortunately, does not manage to stand up against Equinox as well, as they get shut down and shut out of this particular round.
And that was a good. You mentioned about the good flank. What I would say would be the best as well in that game that Equinox just played is the backup coming in from the other side. Because yeah, the flank was good, but 2 of their members was knocked down. If the rotation of the other team or the half of the team was not that well, that would not be a good exchange for Equinox. So having still 4 members on their end getting those kills as well is a good play, a good start for this team. Now, New Gen right now is going against Black Angels. Not really it will be unfortunate for either one of this team if one will be taken out, eliminated, because they're already at the bottom, or bottom of the leaderboards, and they are taking each other out. And Nugent right now going in for kill after kill after kill, and Black Angels will be left in the corner, being rushed by New Gen, and an opportunity will be taken. Yunda will be going in on this rush out. Oh, and I thought someone was be waiting, but the vehicle gameplay will be on, and Anshin will be running away.
Well, Hacks from afar helping Reagan out, trying to take down Arfar. Anshin with the opportunity backs away, but vehicle now on fire. Anshin abandons it. Winda, he brings out the beat. He gets the boost of speed as well, and he will be able to catch up to Anshin. And from afar, Winda does not have the gun to take that engagement, so he really now needs to close this gap and hope that Anshin stops at one of these positions. Tries to cut him off as well with the higher ground, and that's a smart decision coming in from him, as Winda will be able to spot Anshin as he gets away. But a little bit of a change in direction now coming in for the team. But we jump on over to AV Crusaders as they continue this fight. Equinox stepping into their compound.
Equinox right now going against AV Crusaders. Papa Zeus has been taking out. Equinox going in for that flank, and Meow was able to go in for that hit as well. Dory right now with a backstab, and yeah boy with that grenade. AV Crusaders not really looking that good. Mimak is the only one remaining for this team, and well, going in, taking that time turner against a few more members of Equinox with 2 defusal in the rush, and Sorry going in for that another hit. And Mimak right now just stepping in front of everyone else with no choice and no defenses left. There goes the team, and AV Crusaders really is not in a good spot. Now looking in onto this team, Eva Radicals, we are waiting for them to really make their move. 0 kills so far. Equinox will be on their sides, and Tanamo from afar, and this is surprising. Tanamo is always taking the long road, the long shot against the other teams. Probably that is one reason why Führer is assigned to take in or to get information and roam around to give it out to Tanamo. So hopefully that pays out, given that Führer is already out of this game. Barba and Raymil, and AJ, Raymil is back in the team. I just realized that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. And, I do agree that Fura is fast to take some of the shorter ranged engagements, but with the split in terms of the drop zone early on in the match, that's something that I don't know how I can, fully be supporting 100%, right? Because it's just way too much of risk being taken early on in the game. And Vete Esports kind of plays it the same way as well. But the one thing that they do really good is they make sure nobody else is in or around their compound. And when they do spot someone dropping in nearby their area, you do see them immediately catching up with each other, forming a tight grouping once again before they move around. And that's maybe something what Eva Radicals would like to take into account as well. And Huinda just getting caught off guard here by Navi, and Trot WYS really putting on a show for us.
Yeah, definitely. And Shanks right now is in there going in for the knockdown as well. Raygan is will be eliminated right here. And there you go. Navi is we've already been taken down. And Eugen has an advantage, only taking against one member of Trot WYS. So when we thought that they have the advantage and a firepower to go against them, well, New Gen just turned it around. And still, good news for New Gen. They will be able to get a few more points in this fight, but Shanks will just be playing for the placement, and he needs to move away. He needs to move away, get into a better position inside the next safe zone. Otherwise, a New Gen might be chasing him later on. So he's not really well. He is still going back, trying to go back and take those a few kills and cut them off. But having going against two members might not be a smart move, AJ.
Yeah, no trigger discipline coming in from Shanks. He doesn't even secure the kill, and Smiley will be able to shut him down and pick Hacks right back up. Now, I understand exactly why Shanks did that, because when you're at the maze, you can't run, man, because right outside of the maze, it's just open plain. So even if he does start running, he doesn't have the beat to be dropped. He won't have a boost in speed. He barely had any glue walls on himself. It was just an unfortunate situation. So I understand why he stayed to fight, but he should have waited. He should have waited a little bit longer to secure a position where he will definitely at least kill one player and stand a chance against the second one, right? But that was a bad call. And now it is Wei from the side of the Shrines, and they will be able to punish Eva Radicals as they shut down Ramiel. Barba already made his way, as they shut down Barba as he tried to step on in there, taking those aggressive stuns. And Eva Radicals, Dynamo backing away, Ramiel staying behind to see if or not he can hold back the forces, distract Vete Esports, maybe take a backstab, and the nade gets popped out, and he's doing a great job of distracting them and buying time for Dynamo. But Dynamo just cannot get away, and he now gets caught out. Rory with the long shots, and this might just be the end of Eva Radicals.
And once again, Veda Esports has Eva Radicals has their targets on their back as Veda Esports tries to rush in. This is their chance to go and eliminate one of their best contenders. And there you go. We have Veda Esports right now taking out Eva Radicals, and a chance for them to move a little bit more forward. It will be more of an easy movement for them to go against other teams without the aggression being felt from Eva Radicals on that final circle. So it is a smart move from them to eliminate, well, once they knew that was Eva Radicals against them, eliminate them early on, so at least later they will not be going in third partying, or probably it might still be Veda Esports and Eva Radicals, but a lot of teams will be surrounding them when the circle over the safe zone gets closer. There you go. Oh, unknown right now. Despite being solo, going in against Church, and Church will be taken down, and not quite sure what happened to the rest of the teams of AKO right now, but VDR, unknown when we thought that they would just be playing for the placement, will be taking that kill.
I'm just confused, because I was actually about to say right after you ended your sentence as to I have not seen AKO Ligas throughout this whole lobby, right? We haven't really spotted them all that too much. And before you could end your sentence, we spot Cheers. He's running all alone, shut down. But Cheers, his team is still in the map, but they're nowhere to be seen on the minimap. So I'm confused as to what is AKO Ligas trying to do. in this particular round. But it looks like they are trying to play for placement somehow. Morty getting knocked down onto the ground. Yeah, boy's right there behind him. Cryfu trying to go in there for that backup. Yeah, boy, defusal. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Morgana with the shotgun, a lot of pressure, pulls out the glue wall, but traps himself. He can't give that backup. Morty now on the ground. Cryfu trying to get away. That was a terrible move from Morgana to not get involved in that fight. And now Cryfu has to survive all on his own. Morgana, that a little bit of more patience and attention is paid to him. He tries to play the double glue wall survival on both sides, but he will get caught out as Sorry just does not care about the safe zone.
Rifle right now tries to rush in, but there goes the strength of a few members or more members of Equinox going in. Sorry was able to go and get back, but bloody heads, not quite sure what's going in on their head right now. The questionable movement, not just the glue wall of Morgana, but as well as the rush. They're a little bit spread out, not really the usual bloody head that we keep seeing from previous days. So I think they're trying something new right now, but this is not the time for that. I mean, it's good that they're still on a good placement on leaderboards, but probably move it a little bit further up and then switch it up a little bit, little by little. Now, going back to Veda Esports, they have a good position right now. Equinox probably haven't recovered just yet after that fight against the Bloody Head, so we'll have to see how well will they go against them. And there you go, finally, AKO Liger being shown, and they're a little bit too far, but a little bit too far from the other teams, but in a good position of the next safe zone.
Oh, in a damn good position for the next save zone, you have to say. VJ Esports now taking on Equinox. Can they shut down the Apex Predators of this particular lobby? Because Equinox, a team that has just not shown up throughout the whole competition, finally secures their first booyah in the previous round. And in this round, they already have 12 kills already. Yeah, boy knocks down Forbits. Forbits, on the other hand, he will be able to respond. And Forbits gets taken out by Yeah Boy as well. The guy is surviving. Ooh. Oh, what a play by Yeah Boy. Daymoon down on the ground as well. He shuts him down from the roof. McRory, the final player left, and he has to play the safe zone. Yeah, boy, from the back. Pressure. Mayday Esports shut down by Equinox.
And there you go. And AK all once again with a waiting game. Just what we've seen earlier from a different team, but Konoho still takes the MVP of this game. So I guess this is one reason why they are taking it passive. 3 members in there has entered the ring at round, but still a good fight for them. They played it passive. They know they have this advantage of the manpower, but they have a chance to go in against team, especially after what happens. Veda Esports is a little bit too aggressive on that fight. A smart move from Equinox right there, going in for the backside. Unfortunately, the zone is closing in on them, and it was taken advantage by AKO Ligers.
You see, here's the thing. 18 points AKO Ligers needed to catch up with Go Willem Views in that number 1 spot, and they got exactly 18 points. And they desperately needed to secure a couple of extra points for themselves as well, because this was going to be their final round. And after this, Go Willem Views will be able to play again, and Eva Radicals, they will be able to continue playing, which really puts AKO Ligers in a terrible situation to get pegged down in the overall leaderboards once again. So it was a great showing for them on their final round in the competition, even if they started off with a handicap. I mean, I guess we had our answers there as we saw them just survive with those 3 players. And yes, they did lose Cheers. Then they, just with the pure duo, a little bit of luck from the gods of RNG, they managed to secure that win for themselves. But I want to pay attention to Equinox. Neptune, what is going on?
Equinox is really making their way into the series, making their name into the series. They've already started thinking of ways to go against other teams, like the small teams, placement points earlier on. They trigger, they switch on their aggressiveness little by little. And the moment that they went in against, not really thinking that was Veda Esports, they're just thinking that this is a different team. We've already have this planned out. Let's just let it off against them.
And there's no doubt at all with that performance, Equinox actually secured that #1 spot for themselves, because there's no way they did not manage to do that for themselves, because they were already at a 15 kill point at one point in the game, right? And this was their very first engagement against the players of Axis, and they had the higher ground, and they managed this battle really, really well, nephew.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just love how teams are ready to, turning on, like putting their game face on in these matches. And as we mentioned, just early parts of this series, or in you've already know what studied what other teams are doing, the rotations, the drop points as well, which team you can take advantage of, which team you need to be a little bit cautious. But and that is what some of the teams in the likes of Equinox are doing right now, as they go in. As you look into here, AV Crusaders, they went in there head on, and then earlier, as what we've seen against Veda Esports, they went in for the cat and mouse game, going around the compound, not really being that aggressive, because they knew when the first knockout happened, or the first shot against them happened, they knew who are they're against with. They're choosing their plays against the team that they're fighting it off.
And, it was a great standing from VDR as well, right? But as Unknown tried to hold it in there, it was just Vete Esports being Vete Esports, right? Damon just overcame the situation way too easily. And Bloody Heads, this one was a shocker for me as well, man. Equinox just shutting down Bloody Heads like they were absolutely nothing. And then from the top, it was this guy, Yeah Boy, doing so much of damage. He had the vantage point, so much of chaos down at the bottom. His team members were doing a lot as well. And he just took the opportunity of securing all of those kills. And like we were talking about, man, although they get the #2 spot, they very easily take over that #1 position at the end because of their 15 kill points, 24 points overall. AKO Ligers with securing the booyah for themselves. This was just a trio. This was a tremendous round for AKO Ligers. Nonetheless, a 3-kill round this time round for a 15 points overall to finish off the day for themselves. Vete Esports, they still have 2 more rounds left on in here, so securing 14 points will most definitely continue to go a long way for them in this particular day, nephew.
Yeah, and really surprising new gen right now, and they're going in on 4th with 5 placement points as well as the 6 kills. I think the battle that they went in against Black Angels helped at that point to get as much kills as possible. Bloody Heads in there, who was taken out earlier, got 6 placement points as well as 4 kill points. Black Angel, on the other hand, still playing the passive game, taking 7 placement points for themselves. The Vindicators, 4 and 2 on the placement and kill points. Axis, on the other hand, despite of not having any placement points, they got 4 kill points. And this is what I'm talking about. It is possible to do that. You can get a few points against other teams, and then probably ending up at 11 and 12. At least you were able to put yourself in a position wherein you have more points than the others. Trot WIS, on the other hand, slowly moving in on with those kill points as well. A few placement points with 2 and 2. And Eva Radicals, unfortunate for them, just a placement point with 3 in total. AV Crusaders, 1 and 1. And Who's Next, who has been eliminated early on, no kill points for this team. So hopefully we'll see more better gameplays from Who's Next in the upcoming days, upcoming matches that they are going into. But this is the end of match number 4. So let's check out how all 4 matches ended up. Bermuda, who was taken by AKO Ligers. Kalahari has been taken by Who's Next. Equinox in there taking Bermuda once again in round number 3, and Kalahari in their final game that we've seen earlier will be taken by AKO Ligers.
Oh yeah, and just it has just been a crazy day where teams like Equinox have been able to find it in themselves to rise up to the top, man. And Equinox, they initially started off at the 10th spot, but they actually dropped down to the 12th position earlier on in the day because they just didn't have the ability to step it up for themselves, right? But this time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they really are putting on a show. Overall, AKO Ligers, as intended, they have managed to rise up to the top and pick that number 1 spot for themselves. But I do not expect them to be able to hold on to this for very, very long, because Govilam Views as well as Eva Radicals, they have got 2 more rounds left in them together with Vete Esports. So this is going to be tough on AKO Ligers, but it most definitely will serve as a great motivation to continuously hit hard in the coming days of the competition, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And the first team who hit the 100 mark on the exactly 100 mark on the kill points for the AKO Ligers. There is an impressive game from them with that 33 kills. Now, we'll have to check how well they're fare after the next group's fight. But going in, Veda Esports still on the move, slowly moving up on the leaderboards. Bloody Heads maintaining their position in 5th. Who's next? Who's making their way through as well, despite of some matches were in not really that good of a fight. Equinox, as what you mentioned, AJ, slowly moving up on this game as well. 1 booyah to their name and 133 on the total points. BPH Velocity a little bit left behind in this match. 2 booyahs, 128, but they will have their chance to go in. Vindicators on 9th. Axis from the other side of this leaderboard, you have 10th place Rev Ayolus making their way as well, and their leaderboards, Ego Oblivion on 12, Monkey Tribe a little bit slow for them, as well as No Fear compared to the other days, but Black Angel is slowly moving their way. Hopefully they keep off on the passiveness and put in a little bit more aggressive at this point at 15. Trot WYS is 16 and AV Crusaders in 17 as New Gen still takes the 18th spot.
Whatever points Black Angels have been able to pick up today has still been from just placement, so they really need to find some of their momentum. They need to find a few ways to get a couple of kills in the competition, or else they're just going to be struggling all throughout, man. Not even being able to make the top 12. That's most definitely going to be a painful lesson for them, but let's see exactly how much that motivates them to step it up. Yeah, boy, with the very well-deserved MVP of the league stage, day 4 for round 3 and 4, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 3,992 on the damage, 9 kills, 5 assists, and a hit rate of 46.2. This guy was not just a titan on the battlefield this time around, especially for game number 4, but it was the smart positioning for him to actually take the roof whilst a lot of chaos was ensuing around him, and he just held on a steady head, securing the kills for his team to manage to, of course, grab that number 1 spot, even if they don't get the second booyah of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the name, yeah, boy. But yeah, I mean, it's really smart as he went in there, and at some point during the highlights, one has been taken down. We saw on the kill feed that it was a yeah boy, but we really couldn't spot where he is. So I think that's the same view that some of the teams of Veda Esports or members of Veda Esports has. They don't know where yeah boy was. They don't know where to turn, like who to shoot at to stop that whatever's happening to their team until it's a little bit too late. And you saw the move that yeah boy did. If he did that earlier on, he might have been able to go and like switch to the side and take one from the final moment, and then probably battle it on a 1v1. But still, surprising gameplay from the teams. I'm really happy to see that teams like Equinox right now really improving, showing them off. Showing their teams off in this matches. So, AJ, we are going in onto the next match. It's Group A and C.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And Group B will not be able to participate anymore, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. They finished all 4 of their rounds already. And Group A, after resting for the past 2 rounds, they will be able to show us exactly what all of that rest has been able to do for them. And the 6 teams that comes in here from Group A, just as a quick refresher for all of y'all, is Ego Oblivions, Govilam Views, Monkey Tribe, No Fear, Rev Aeolus, as well as VPH Velocity. And now these 6 teams, out of all of them, the team that has most definitely been making a lot of noise so far, Govilam Views, the ones that are pegged for that number 1 spot today. And of course, the biggest question, the question that I started the day off with, Neptune, will Eva Radicals be able to still secure that #1 spot. Today, more than any other day, because today has been the day where not only have they not performed well, but the other teams have truly, truly shined to rise above them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the catch-up game against Eva Radicals is really, really on. So hopefully, Eva Radicals, like what I'm seeing from them is they're playing a different tactics. Probably it's also a matter of having a few members starting off the game, but hopefully we've seen more of the radical part of this team because that's what we love to see, and they're doing it successfully. And as we look into the map right now, oh my god, AJ, what will be happening in that area once everyone has landed?
Yeah, if you guys have been to Singapore, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sentosa is definitely the island that gives you the most fun in the arguable to some Singaporeans. They might say that other places in Singapore can give you slightly more fun, but that's a conversation that I have to take up with a Singaporean one day. But when I go to Singapore, Sentosa is definitely the spot that I want to visit. Maybe a little bit of fun these players go out there in search for. I don't think they're gonna find fun though. Probably riddled with a couple of bullets by the time they get out of there. Portunog, on the other hand, Black Angels, the first thing they do is run.
I mean, probably that's what's playing in the background for them. Okay, I'm the team captain. We've seen a different team. Let's go. Hit that play button. Run.
It seems to be working out for them to pick up points, points that they have not been able to pick up from kills. But it clearly is not doing them favors in terms of, getting up into the top 12. And they really have to start just taking some of these chances, man. I mean, even AV Crusaders are now taking these chances. What more Black Angel?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see.
That's
I mean, we're just in day number 4, so probably there's something up their sleeves. Hopefully there's something up their sleeves, something different from what we've seen so far, because I really feel them that yes, we need to get the points as well, but I mean, being that so passive that we are seeing that clearly every time we see them on the field is not really good for them as well as for motivation. So at least a little bit of motivation in the kills, getting a lot of kills against most of these teams will really motivate them to do even more once they get into engagement. Speaking of engagement, Eva Radicals, I think this is the answer, AJ, that for the question that we have. They are in here going in for the battle, not really holding it off. This is not the passive Eva Radicals that we've seen previously.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, this is just a really smart play coming in from Barba. He knocks down the first player, throws a smoke, jumps on into the smoke, plays the distraction out of the smoke, and then shuts down the second player that comes in there for the premature pickup as well. Just crazy plays as usual out of the Eva Radicals player. But, they've just really not been showing up fully. But I don't believe that, they're having a bad day, man. I just believe it's Eva Radicals just being lazy. They're like, yeah, all right. Why struggle? Why give your extra effort for a few extra pesos, man? We are the kind of team that can go all the way to the grand finals and bag the 450K. So I think we get to we get to chill a little bit. But on that note, some of these other teams like Go Willem Views and AKO Ligers now have been showing that they are more than capable of catching up. And I feel like that's putting on a little bit of extra heat onto these players of Eva Radicals, and that might just push them to perform in this round.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just us calling them out, but the teams who are moving up as well against them. Yeah, they need that much push to show us what the radical gameplay is all about. But here we go, another gameplay that another team who's really upping up their gameplay is Axis right now, going against the VPH. Binata has been taken down right now with the double vector, and a good grouping of Axis is happening right now. It's probably a little bit of disadvantage inside this compound, but the way they rush in is more tactical, and hopefully it works for the rest of the teams of BPH.
what they do in the situation. Axis, PPH right in front of him. Ritu shuts down the most valuable player of Axis, Mr. Ong, on the ground. Laurie trying to survive. Nathan goes down at the same time as well. Gal from the back trying to hold on for his team. A good grenade here can put him in a great position. Oh my lord, misthrows that grenade. Absolutely no effect whatsoever. Gal with another opportunity just tags up Ritu just a little bit, but zero impact by this player. Ritus now will be able to respond really well. He does have that information. Fires off against Gal. Gal steps out. Great shot onto Ritus. The question is, will he be able to punish? As Jonel now comes in here for the save, Gal repositions himself. Smart plays coming through. Hopefully he can find this kill at the very least.
Yeah, it's a 1v1 situation right now, and there you go, finishing off Ritus in this fight. Gal right now losing the time turner and will be shot down. Janelle right now still has a chance to go for the pickup, but no, Janelle has lost Ritus in there. Not a good exchange, but at least VPH had 4 points to their name, as well as a chance to slowly move into for the placement for being a little bit passive, but it will hurt them, AJ, because we've seen VPH try to catch up onto the points. A good team composition from them. If they go all on, they can get decent amount of kills, but with only one, it will be very difficult. So the 4 might only be added by 1 or 2 if they survive past half or more than half of the teams who's still alive.
Yeah, let's see if or not they will be able to pull that off. It's not going to be an easy task, but of course it's similar with the situation that Ego Oblivions are going to face against Go Willem Views. Although Go Willem Views actually doesn't really have a great position for themselves. Sentino trying to get out of his compound will get fired upon by Myson, who pulls out the beat of his own, as well as he sees a couple of response shots coming in here from the players of Go Willem Views. And now he just needs to play this a little bit of carefully. Sentino responding really well just to make sure Myson does not put on way too much of pressure on him. And Go Willem Views, they back away right into Rimnam Village as they cannot step out. Ego Oblivions, a good flank to keep the Titans in, and now the safe zone is going to force them in. So what's the Ego Oblivions going to do in this situation? Because they will be pressured by the safe zone as well.
Yeah, I mean, they might be pressured by safe zone, but at least they have the good vantage point against Goblin Will. So I think this is just earlier on onto this round. So they still have, or they can take the damage of the safe zone. The damage that they can do against Goblin Wills, I think, will be a good exchange at this point. So they will keep this position strong, probably slowly move in onto the safe zone or the next circle. So we'll have to find out how far is that from them, and will there be anyone waiting, because the gunshots probably will also attract some attention for them, and they might be gatekept as well.
How many times? How many times will Vete Esports get in the way of Eva Radicals? Thanamo's not having any of it. He backs away, but right into the eyes and the crosshairs of potential Aeolus players. And now I don't think he expected that. But, you know, the Aeolus players will not really be bothered about that at all. And Rev, to take over the situation, they need to find Thanamo. But Blake does not seem to be wary of his position. And Blake gets out of there. He needs to avoid the safe zone as well. Thanamo, opportunity from the backstab. Snipe. Blake abandons his bike. Oh my lord, what is he doing?
I mean, a bad situation right there. The timing is really off when he has the sights, where he's already in the sights, and Tanamo was able to go in against Blake. And Blake is one of the best player that we have for Rev Ayolu. So Blake right now is already down, and they are split up with the rest of their teammates, and Tanamo is going to survive, loot him off, and probably get back into play.
Yeah, Blake probably just abandoned his bike to get to that launch pad to just position himself in a better spot overall in the game. Oh, great spot once again by Tanamo. Shuts down Tinkle. It just took 2 shots for him to bag that. And now just looting up a little bit for himself as well. Will be able to find 4 glue walls in that pocket. Fura in here with the loots as well. 10 glue walls overall for him. You know, when Eva Radicals gets into those battles, they're not going to have too much of a problem at all. And now Tanamo positioning himself really well. Turns around instead and finds a finds another launch pad for himself. It's all about the map awareness, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Finds another one, and he's just backing back to back. There will be no vehicles for him, but he can play a little bit of cover in here. And I believe I did spot the monster truck just in front, but he will have to place a little bit of distance between himself as well as Ego Oblivions, as the rest of his team members get caught right in front of Go Willem Views.
Yeah, I think this is a miscalculation for the side of Tanamo, wherein he went in a little bit too far, expecting the rest of teams will be rushing in. But there goes Barba, already down for the hands of Sneaks, and Sneaks right now finishing them off. Now Fury right here, I think will be facing off Wiz, the Wizkid right there, all across on that bridge. Tanamo right now trying to put a little bit pressure on Sneaks as well as Santino. VPH Velocity will be eliminated from the other side of the map, and even Radicals, they really need to make their move and forward into the safe zone, probably cut off Goblin Wheels as well as other teams who might be rushing in. On the other side, AJ, we're seeing Beta Esports against No Fear, and the grenade of Kobe McGrory is still there.
Yeah, and the one thing that I can guarantee you right now is one team is smiling year to year, and that team's name is AKO Ligers, because all of these Titans are just shutting each other down, not giving them the opportunity, not giving each other the opportunity to catch up with AKO Ligers. Vete Esports, on the other hand, with the McRory pro plays on the grenade launcher, they shut down No Fear with absolutely no sign of fear in themselves whatsoever. Sparky is the one that shows sign of fear as he runs away with his tail tucked between his legs. Tanamo with the initial shot, and look at that pressure from his team member. Fura on the bike knocks him out of position. Tanamo finishes that off. What a combo, and they will continue doing this to anybody that steps in front of them, as Eva Radical still looks for that #1 spot to end the day on.
Barba is putting in a different, or Tanamo is putting in a different teammate in the sights of Fury right there. But here we go, going in for a different team. And Balorian, quite surprised at their battle that they've seen earlier for the sides of Wills. They're still a full squad, and they're staying outside of the safe zone right now, just picking up all those lost souls, per se, who's just staying outside of the safe zone as well.
And the players of Eva Radicals, they need about 30 plus points, 35 points as a matter of fact, to be accurate, to catch up to AKO Ligers. 36 points if they want to take that #1 spot, but they have to make sure at the same time Go Willem Views does not catch up, because Go Willem Views are in a much better position. They are just 15 points behind AKO Ligers. So not only Eva Radicals has to make sure they secure the 36 points, they have to make sure that Go Willem Views does not catch up with them at the very same time. And that is a very hard ask, because you have got zero control over the positioning or the placements of a totally different team, unless you are lucky enough to find them early in the competition. And the way Go Willem Views and Eva Radicals are, if you find them early in these rounds, there's no guarantee how that fight may go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen how aggressive they are, especially for the sides of Eva Radicals. But like what we've seen so far, they've been dying. Like, the tactics that's working from previous days is dying down right now. And as what we've seen from there, only 2 members from Eva Radicals will survive. Yes, they might be able to get a few more kills, but they will be going in for the placement zone or placement gameplay, compared to Wales, who's still a full squad and who can still get a lot more of kills. Well, for early engagement against the team, has a better opportunity on taking this top spot. So I would say AJ, Eva Radicals might not be able to get it today for that first place. And that was just me. I'm just looking at the performance, but hopefully I am proving wrong.
Brother, I am a believer. I am a believer in the Eva Radical supremacy. When you count them out is exactly when they shine. Ooh, time turner play coming in from both of these players. Going in, ducking in and out of the time turner. And it is Reveolis' Benny Sue that has got the better plays of ducking in and out of the time turner. And, the new additions of the changes, I have to say, to the time turner truly has, changed the way some of these players play these rounds. And Bete Esports doing the players of AKO Ligers a huge favor by once again, and I believe for the 3rd time, shutting down the plays of Eva Radicals.
Yeah, and they have a chance as well to eliminate the Wills right now. So hopefully, I think crossing fingers for the side of AKO Ligers right now
Oh
for
yeah.
Beta Esports
Oh,
to survive
oh
here.
my.
But Rory
Oh
right
my.
now going
Oh
for
my.
that hit.
What is going on? Neptune and Balore down on the ground as well. And Govil and Views shut down like they're absolutely nothing. And I can tell you one thing for sure, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, AKO Ligers, they are singing hallelujah. Because VJ Esports are their saviors right now.
Hopefully, I can hit a note like you, AJ.
Crazy stuff, bro. And this is just day 4 of the competition. And you know what? I was talking about the shuffling of groups so many times earlier on. It totally didn't occur to me. Today's the halfway point of the competition, my friend. The shuffling is happening after we end the day today. So that's crazy stuff. If you want to bag your points, you better bag the most of it today. And AKO Ligers have done the best for themselves. VJ Esports have just helped both VJ Esports has helped AKO Ligers and prevented both Govil Muse and Eva Radicals back to back. And you know, the coincidences are just, it's too coincidental to be coincidences, man.
I mean, it's like destiny that Beta Esports will be in there to take out the 2 contenders of AKO Ligers. I mean, well, I think it's also expected because Beta Esports has been in their current position right now, and they also need or probably want to get into the top as well. So we might be seeing by the end of the day Beta Esports as a contender of AKO Ligers. Though there's a little bit of a gap from this score them, but as we look into the gameplay of Beta Esports, they're closing that gap right now.
Bro, let me tell you this. From not even being in the conversation, VJ Esports put themselves in the conversation, okay? Because earlier, we were talking about Eva Radicals probably fighting for the #1 spot, and we were talking about how Eva Radicals are 35 points behind AKO Ligers. Where do you think VJ Esports is? VJ Esports is just 38 points behind AKO Ligers. So not only are they doing AKO Ligers a huge favor, they're doing themselves a huge goddamn favor in here to rise up to that #1 spot. And with the way they're going 13 kills in here so far, if they can secure the booyah, they most definitely will be in the prime position. And they are not just stopping here. Here they come, running through the AV Crusaders. Let's go, with a 3-man trio now, running down each and every one of those players. It's gonna be Mimak. He tries to defend himself, pulls out a couple of extra glue wall, but AV Crusaders are still shut down. And in the 15 kill run so far, VJ Esports, a prime predator in this competition, looking for that #1 spot. And who do they have in front of them? Trot WYS, one of the feeders of the competition in here so far. But will the feeders turn things around and shut out VJ Esports? This is a huge fight for them to prevent the Apex Predators of this particular lobby and potentially the Apex Predators of the overall competition by the end of today to stop them in their tracks, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. Draw WIS right now has a better position from above, but Navi will be taken down in there. But let's go is in fire, and General will be taken down. 2 members is left from the side of Draw WIS. Shanks and Monkey trying to make their way against Veda Esports, but Veda Esports is not going down that easy. We have 4 bids right now who has been knocked down. Daemon and Let's Go on a 2v2 situation, and Let's Go is still going hot, and Daemon is in there also in this battle. Now Let's Go will be the ones left right now against 2 members of Drop WYS, and I don't know how will this end. Hopefully it will be a 1v1 for their advantage, but both going against Veda Esports, AJ, that might not be the case.
Oh, and now Monkey gets caught outside. Let's go. Great blue wall pulled out. Monkey on the ground. It's a 1-on-1 situation. Shanks trying to play. Ring around the Rosie. Let's go. Catches him. What a booyah! And VJ Esports, they secure such a commanding victory for themselves to put them right back in the running for the #1 spot, Neptune.
Yeah, as we look into Veda Esports, Damon, Let's Go, Toxic, 4-Bids, and Makarari. And here comes the winners. Really happy to see these teams once again taking that, showing themselves up in this game. Because AJ, as what you mentioned, they've been sitting in there on a comfortable position, not really showing up I mean, they're slowly creeping in. And then today, they just went in there, eliminate everyone. When they turn, they shoot, they kill, and ending up with a 1v1 and a great finish, AJ.
Eva Radicals must be pissed, man. I mean, not once, not twice, 3 times now, Vete Esports have gotten in their way. 3 times now, Vete Esports have been directly responsible for Eva Radicals not being able to catch up with the AKO Liger squad. And Vete Esports literally used them as a stepping stone to catch up to the Ligers. I am mind blown. Free Fire challenges Philippines. What talent, man. I mean, incredible talent all throughout the roster that we have in here from all of the 18 teams, right? Even a team like Equinox, who haven't really been hitting hard throughout the whole competition. As we reach the halfway stage, they now turn on. They've already managed to grab the Booyah for themselves, and they also performed extremely well in the previous matchup, where even without the Booyah, they were still in that number 1 position, man. Today is just a day where everyone's taking their turns to blow our minds, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, because we're getting closer to the midway, and a lot of things has been already set into stone for these teams, like the tactics, what they can do against a specific team, how they can they work this out. That was already fixed for some of the teams, and it is working. Like for the sides of Equinox, as what you mentioned, and Veda Esports. I think this is just their thing. They go in hot, they die off a little bit, but still maintaining their position, and they go in really, really hot towards the end. So I'm expecting this might be a great comeback, per se, for Beta Esports.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, Eva Radicals, they had a great play by Thanamo, but it was just way too early that they lost one player and they had to recover from that situation. But Go Willem Views, this was something that I did not expect, right? Because they initially started off really good. They secured those 4 kills there for themselves. But as they continued to take their fight in, it's just how luck would set them up, man. And this is that part where Vete Esports runs through Eva Radicals, doesn't take a breather, doesn't take a moment, straight up takes that fight directly to the players of Go Willem Views. In a couple of seconds, eliminates them, kicks them out directly to the lobby. And by this time, they were already at that 9 kill point. And they were just so pumped with adrenaline all throughout the way, man. This lobby, this particular game, this match belonged purely to one team and no other than Vete Esports, Nephew.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to that moment, up until this final moment of the game, that they didn't stop, really. I think they had a lot of utilities from looting up earlier on, and they didn't lose any of that, bro. Feeding off from some of the teams that they've eliminated, but there's very, very little chance for them to do that because of the back-to-back engagement that they're going into. So I'm really, really, really amazed with this team as they go in, and there you go, there you have it, 19 kill points coming from Veda Esports plus the Booyah, a total of 31. So I think it's 2 points shy from the highest total point. Oh no, 30, that was wrong. I was thinking about the kills earlier, but still 30 total points from Veda Esports, and AJ on second, Trot WYS. 9 placement points and 6 kill points. So they're also on their way up.
Yeah, very impressive, man. I mean, AV Crusaders performing this time around as well. As the Titans, they were actually falling a little bit earlier on, right? Eva Radicals, of course, picking up the 4th spot with the 8 points, together with Rev Aeolus as well as Monkey Tribe. They, on the other hand, pick up the 5th and 6th position. Go Willem Views bagging out a little early. You saw what happened. 7th position is all they managed to get for themselves because they couldn't really sandbag themselves like how Eva Radicals did with those skills. And 6 points is all they managed to pull away with. Black Angel, as usual, playing the placement points, 0 kills on their side, 5 overall. BPH Velocity, Axis, and Ego Oblivion Snowfear wrap out this table. But let me just point out one thing here. We were talking about how Vete Esports needs 34 points to catch up to that number 1 spot, and how Vete Esports needs, Eva Radicals needs 34, Vete Esports needs 38, and now they just need 7 points to equalize with AKO Ligers. And do you think, Neptune, they can find 7 points in the next round?
That's not really the question. Is it impossible for them to get the 7 points because we've seen him play? I mean, position wise, I mean, if we just think, give them no engagement right there early part of the game, they will get it definitely for the placement points plus the kill points that they can manage from one game. No doubt they will be able to get the additional points that they need, especially their stopping power to take down those who might be going in against them.
Yeah, and you know, if it wasn't for the 22 bomber that AKO Ligers dropped early on in the first game as we opened up the day, this would be the record. This 19 kill run plus booyah by Vete Esports would be the record of the Free Fire Challenges Philippines. And it's just insane. It's just mental. Just today alone, we are getting the best of the best of the best of the best from the Philippines. Oh my lord, and we are just hitting the halfway point. So much more for you guys to expect from the competition. That's the one thing we can continue to guarantee you. Not just from us, but from the players as well. You guys can clearly see the way they are changing some of the ways they approach these matches. With Vete Esports, you know, really falling out after the first day, finding their momentum back in here on day number 4 really truly will be inspiring some of these teams. And the question here is, can they maintain this consistency? Can they get yet another round where they get the top 3? That's all they need. Top 3 to get the number 1 spot and end the day, Neptune.
Yeah, that is one of the questions. A lot of questions has been raised right now, but I'm pretty sure, like what I said earlier, Vete Esports can really manage to do that. And here's one thing that I'm thinking: once they get to that number 1, by the following day that they will be going in, they will be slowing down as well. It's a certain of a pattern for Vete Esports right now. Well, not Vete Esports, but for this team,
for all the
they go in. They go in and then they slow down a little bit and then they just go up. So, well, that is just me. That's just my assumption. But hopefully, we'll see more of them in the future because it's really exciting to see them show off the real Vete Esports and not hide out their tactics as they jump into Kalahari for match number 6, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, remember some of my comments that I made. There's no way in hell Vete Esports is not really, it's actually going out there and trying and actually struggling, right? I think just like EVA Radicals are holding back right now, Vete Esports has been doing the exact same thing, right? They want to get that information because these are not the kind of players who are trying to secure the maximum out of the league stages prize pool. These are the players that are trying to secure the maximum points and the maximum of whatever they can grab at the grand finals because they have that confidence that the grand finals is most definitely secured. How will we bag it when we get there is their question. AV Crusaders, they open up strong this time against Axis. Morris nails Gal, and now Laurie gets caught out as well. Badchal and Nathan, how far and how fast can their feet carry them to get away from AV Crusaders? Another team, another bottom feeder who has just been on the rise to the top very recently, Neptune.
Yeah, I really love how they're showing up right now. We've usually seen them with a different team. Like every time we see AV Crusaders, we are expecting that it will be the same story all over again. But slowly, they are changing our minds. They are changing our perception on this team for this team. So I'm really happy on how they're going and really excited to see what more they can go. As you mentioned, we're halfway through, and the improvements just like this coming from AV Crusaders is really going good. So what more can they do in the upcoming next days that they are going into the league stages?
Absolutely right. How do they maintain the consistency that they've been able to build up for themselves? It's really important. It's a great point that you've brought up, Neptune. And that's the thing that might be bogging some of them down. But they just have to find out exactly what does not work for them, right? And I feel like AB Crusaders have found out exactly what does not work for them. Being a passive team in the competition does not work for them. Playing for placement points does not work for them. The moment these guys turned on, the moment they started looking for kills, my oh my, the competition, the run in the competition finally has kicked off for them. And now Axis in a tough situation as they get away from their opponents. Oh, look at this. Heavy Crusaders, they are not chilling, man. They are not taking a break. They use the launch pad. They fly straight in right behind Monkey Tribe. And now they are in prime position to attack the monkeys instead. But Eva Radicals, they come flying in as well. What sort of party do we have in here in the final round, Neptune?
I mean, they just came out of nowhere going in against AV Crusaders right now. And AV Crusaders, I think the surprise right here is unexpected that Eva Radicals will be going in. So I think they are surprised. They are scrambling a little bit, and thus the takedown of Chai. So the rest of the teams will just be running around or running out of this area. Now the question is, will Monkey Tribe go against Eva Radicals at this point? Banpan right now is getting some information, might be going in for the surprise hit, but no, the trigger discipline as well as the determination to live and get information related to the teams and regroup is in there. Hopefully he'll be able to do that furthermore, but here comes the rush right there from above. The Namo not holding back, taking that kill, and from afar Seika was able to go in for that hit against AV Crusaders and will be backing off after seeing that fight against Eva Radicals, AJ.
Panpan, he could have pulled out his gun slightly earlier, man. I mean, a couple of fraction of seconds that it took for the animation to whip that gun out was all it took for his opponent to knock him down onto the ground. And that was just a bad call coming in here from Pan from the Monkey Tribe. And now Meow, AV Crusaders, the aggressive ones that opened up, got a little overexcited, didn't expect the team of Eva Radicals to appear out of nowhere. And now Eva Radicals, so much of pressure, double nade up on top of the roof. Here comes the third one as well. Baba should not be wasting so many, but with the fourth one, he manages to secure the kill finally. And Eva Radicals on the 5-kill spree so far, aiming for the #1 spot yet again.
I'm seeing what Eva Radicals is doing right now. They're starting it off, getting a bunch of kills before any of the circle or the safe zone gets closer, and let's push everything. And probably before the time that Data Esports goes against them, because it's not working well for them. As we go in against Ego Bolivian right now, Trot WIS. Oh, there goes Shanks against Jacob. But Twinkle was able to go in against Shank once again, and Jacob will be picked up. The rest of Trot WIS will be going in from above, and Maisan will be healing up from this side. I think they will be backing off as well, as they don't have really good visibility against Trot WIS, so they have to back off and look for a better position. But Maisan right now has a good side against Rev Ayolus, but putting himself out there to be gunned down by the other team.
Yeah, lucky and with a great situation to shut down Twinkle's play from the side of Ego Oblivions. And the team of Trot WIS, they don't really have to start moving just yet as we wrap things up at Kalahari. But you know, Refinery is not really a place where you hang on to for too long, because it's just a matter of time before a team sneaks on right under you and you have to jump off of the platform, where you then find out, oops, maybe I should have moved slightly earlier. And now they don't have an opportunity or the option to take the zip line across, because Govilum Views overcomes and takes that situation over. The compound in front of them is just with a huge danger sign awaiting. And the players of Ego Oblivion, as they try to catch up with each other, Red Aeolus will catch up with them first. And this just is turning from bad to worse for the squad.
Yeah, bad to worse, definitely. They're stuck in a corner right now. And Reviolos, we've seen them really trying to catch up on those kill points. And I think Reviolos will be doing that as well against Evo. our ego, Oblivion, but we have right there back to Eva Radicals. Tanamo right now going in, releasing that grenade against Binata, and Binata is trying to rush in a little bit closer just to avoid being hit and being grenaded once again. Binata getting that information and shots coming from afar, from above, from the rest of BPH Velocity, but back off a little bit, will be taken down by Barba with a shotgun, and Barba will there sweeping Peyton down with that sniper. The switch, AJ, the switch really is surprising for that part.
I think it's a little bit of an understatement if I start saying that Eva Radicals is on freaking fire in this round. And Janelle, one opportunity, shuts down Fura with a great knock. Will be able to get the knock onto Tanamo as well. And he gets it shut down. What a play by Janelle. Binata is a lost cause already, but can he shut down Aguila as well? Janelle, VPH Velocity, what a play. Two very important kills. And here comes Aguila, the CQC specialist, getting sprayed down. Time Turner pulled out in the nick of time. And Janelle moves on into his Time Turner. But a great finisher by Aguila as he pulls out the SMG. And Eva Radicals, with all of the aggression and the opportunity that they took against VPH Velocity, it has put them in a very, very tough spot once again before they get into that final zone, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And before they got into against Veda Esports, because Veda Esports, as we're looking at it, going against No Fear is really going in and getting those points. So 4-man strong for the side of Veda Esports. If in case they meet up with Eva Radicals later on, I think there's no question that it will be difficult for Eva Radicals. But here we go as we look into Let's Go, trying to look for the enemy, but was beat by McCrory with that grenade. And I guess once you are beat with that kill, all you have to do is just loot up, AJ.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, once a Grenadier, always a Grenadier. McRory just getting what he does best, is shown in these matches, match after match. And now, Ego Oblivion, Twinkle, with a very, very, very bad position. Gets 1-2. And the CQC is not going to be putting him in a great spot. The rest of his players are way too far to give him any sort of backup. And here comes the flank from Benny as well as Blake as they close the distance between themselves as well as Tinkle. 1-2 keeping the distance from him, but just pulling in a lot of his attention. Blake does not take that aggressive push. Instead, circles around AJ. And that is a battle we will have to catch up with later on. As Govilum views, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we cannot forget that they are aiming for that number 1 spot as well, and they are not too far away from AKO Ligers. The last time we checked, I believe they needed 15 points to catch up. And now, Drop WYS, Blocky with a great knock onto 1-2. Nobody is there to save him, and he will be able to secure the kill for his team. And now that's the first point of the game that they've gotten for themselves, and Blocky will have to continue playing for placements here, Nephew.
Yeah, definitely. And placement. And it's no question that Blocky can also go for the kills, but it's a really very difficult situation right here, going solo against most of the teams who are in here, like with the duos and a full squad. So Ploki is a little bit cautious as well, getting a good position from the high ground and not really letting that 6 open. For the hitting of the other teams. Now, the question is, will Ploki be able to get into the rest of the map the moment that the next circle will show up? As we look in, I think Govelam Wills has a better position to go against who are around this area. And there goes smack dead in the middle is Govelam Wills. I think they read the situation already. And onto the sides is Veda Esports, who also are using the edge of the circle most of the time, AJ. Most of the time, they use the edge of the safe zone to their advantage to cut off anyone who's going into this safe zone.
Absolutely, man. And Vete Esports now just about 7 points from getting to that number 1 spot. Currently, they sit down in the 2nd position in all of these teams. Now, is it? Oh, come on. Is this going to be the 4th time round? Eva Aguilar, great time turner being pulled out just to buy a little bit of extra time for himself. McRory being fired up against as well. And Barba's shots will not be able to make it through this time turner. But time turner runs out of time. And the glue walls have to be popped out. A double glue wall, as a matter of fact, gets pulled out. There's respect for Eva Radicals, because they know the kind of pressure that'll come through. But Eva Radicals, they get run over because look who's here. It is the players of Govilum Views, Neptune.
Goblin Wheels from above just raining fire against Vita Esports. That was a surprise hit because there was no sign of Goblin Wheels right there from the sides of Vita Esports. So they need to scramble and go in from the other side of this platform, probably get a little bit of elevation, or probably just hide out and wait for their chance before or while Goblin Wheels jump off from this height. Now, here it comes. It is all level. It's more of tactical that needs to be done right here, and sneaks is the information or gets the information that Vita Esports is getting close to their team.
The three Titans, the three apex predators of this competition so far, minus AKO Ligers, of course, who are the fourth ones now in this confinery. Are they going to be able to beat each other to get to that #1 spot? Because that's exactly what it's going to take. And now Vete Esports getting into a fight with the players of Govilum Views, and Barba just staying the hell out of that situation. He wants to take advantage later on, but he also has to make sure he gets to the next safe zone in the safe time as well. And now Vete Esports finally opens up. Wiz, she has got the opportunity to take the CQC, but double glue walls being pulled out. Wiz backing away as well. Santino steps up in front, over aggressive, buy some time, and he will be able to shut down Forbis. Vete Esports responds. McRory with the nade, and yes, that Kobe is still alive. And Balore comes out. Time Turner being pulled out, and Sneaks gets taken from the back. And Balore, final player in here. How will he save his whole team? Santino gets picked up first. A double glue wall right in front, and Vete Esports cannot get to them. But McRory and his nades might be able to reach them, but from up top, no nade needed. Vete Esports shut down Govilum Views.
And despite of the situation, AJ, 3 survived after that great battle between these two teams. Now, going into the other team, we have a Black Angel being taken down by Revayols right now, and we have Gradient who's firing back, and this is about time that they go and fight back against a different team. Now, Wait Lang right now will be sighted as well from the other side, and Wait Lang will be eliminated by Blake as they go in with that vehicle, and I think Blake will not be able to get back as one more member is a little bit too far from them. Now, Gradient is trying to flank off on the other side, but they need to move because in a few moments they might be hearing the warning we're in the circle will be closing in.
Absolutely, man. And now Vete Esports in a great position as they hold on to a compound. They hold on to a platform, my apologies, for themselves, all three players. And Barba's still alive and kicking, so Eva Radicals cannot be counted out just yet. But as a matter of fact, they have already been dropped way beyond, way behind the players of Vete Esports. So there's no way they're going to be able to fight for that #1 spot either way. The best they can hope for is sneaking into that second position. Let's Go shuts down Ploki, and look at Barba not taking advantage of the situation. Vete Esports, McRory now with so much of pressure from up top, trying to take Gradient out of this equation, will be able to shut down his glue wall first, but Gradient uses the elevation of that hill as a little bit of a backup. And Black Angels right in front, taking that fight up against Revayolas, and McRory chips in as well and steals the kill away.
And here we go. We have a couple of members from Black Angels who has been eliminated by the zone, and we still have Veta Esports on the push, and Staker right now, who has been roaming around circles in there, will be gunned down as well as Blake. So I think Blake and Staker right now is just trying to avoid being shot at and being steady, but the grenades might not be helping them. We have Eva Radicals as well from the north side, and there you go finally with that Toby McRory nade shot coming in, and here comes the 4 teams who is batting it out. Rory jumping it out, and Monkey Tribe eliminated. Back-to-back kills right there. The legend is here, AJ.
Oh, absolutely, man. McRory just saying, no way, Jose. Pulls out the time turner and just absolutely annihilates his opponent. And now, Let's Go as well as McRory taking on Barba. Eva Radicals still alive and kicking. Reviola's taken out by the safe zone. Barba still surviving 2-on-1. And it will be Vete Esports with another convincing booyah for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they are really on fire. Hobie McRory is in there being the MVP. Damon forbids, and let's go. Together with Soxers, if he comes to play this set of players, the skill set that they have, well, Veta Esports really is on their way. And I really can say, AJ, that this is the Veta Esports. This is the true Veta Esports. The one that we keep seeing from the previous day, that's They
That's
probably are
that's
sleepy at
Vete
that time.
Esports. Just not wanting to be Vete Esports. Like I said, right, Neptune, this was something that we've thrown out there already. And you and I, we kind of discussed this because you had a couple of chats with some pro players, and you asked them whether or not it is really a strategy to be holding back some of your plays, and they said it's all a hoax. It's not. There's no way it is, right? I mean, yes, gods of RNG, they do put in a lot of different challenges for some of these teams, but throughout the whole game, if you've played enough of these battle royales, those unpredictable RNG moments are extremely predictable. The only thing that is unpredictable are your opponents. And it is teams like Vete Esports that pay attention to the movements of their opponents, that pay attention more to exactly what's happening on the map, not just on Kalahari, but on Bermuda as well as Purgatory over a couple of days before they truly strike. And all of those days where they just weren't being much of a threat in the competition, people just forgot about them, man. On day number 4, not only do they start things off with a bang, it was AKO Ligers that kind of shut them down in terms of shining a little bit brighter. So although Vete Esports did take a super convincing 19 kill round, it just didn't have that great impact. But you know what had great impact, Neptune? Shutting everybody else out of the run and taking the number 1 spot, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Vete Esports right now, there's no question that they really don't mind which team is against them. Compared to what we usually see, that some of the teams are picking their fights depending on who they are knocking down or who's knocking them down. Vete Esports is not thinking about that. They've learned that already. They've thought of that already. And as what you mentioned, AJ, that is probably what they're doing during the downtime. I would say their downtime that we're in, they're not really performing. But when it's needed, when they can possibly take in a whole, like, their place on the first or on the leaderboard within one day, that is what they do.
Oh, yeah. Just one day to turn things around for themselves. Just one day. Just when we were so distracted, man. Just when we were distracted by AKO Ligers rising back up. Just when we were distracted by Govilum views, and yes, a little bit by Wiz as well with her WizKid plays and her just outstanding maneuvers out there on the battlefield. When we were getting distracted by Eva Radicals, wondering whether or not they will take that number 1 spot again, Vete Esports steps it right back up and just sends a clear message. Please do not forget that we are still here and we are the dominant brand. 26 points, a convincing round from Vete Esports once again in the competition. Eva Radicals doing great, doing enough to pick up the number 2 spot, I'm very sure, for themselves overall. And 18 will be able to give them that number 2 spot in match number 6 as well. Reveolis picks up the 3rd spot. Monkey Tribe, impressive stuff coming in here in the 4th position, 10 points. Strot WYS, equally as impressive in the 5th position with the 8 points. And Ego Oblivions managing to make it there to the 6th place with the 6 points. And Black Angel, once again, with the placement points. Stop it, guys.
Yeah, so followed by Black Angels. Goblin Wheels were in a lot of expected from them, especially in this final moments of these matches, because they have a chance to go and take number 1, but that really didn't happen because a lot of teams are, well, especially for the sides of Vete Esports and Eva Radicals, really wants to shut down those who are gunning for their position. VPH Velocity, on the other hand, they put up good show, but unfortunate for them, it's not really working this time because as we can see, some of the times like some of the teams like Rev Ayolos and Monkey Tribe, like moving it up, their tactics of being passive and getting a little bit of distance before going in, but in close combat, it's not really working against these teams who are trying and improving themselves. So I think a little bit of switch up on their gameplay needs to be done as well. AV Crusaders lagging a little bit, but despite of not getting any placement points, they get 2 kill points. No Fear is the reverse, no kill points, but 2 placement points. Axis, surprisingly, 0, and everything is, well, it's because they got into the way of one of the Titans. So, well, it's not a surprise, but there's still another chance for them.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. I mean, of course, let's take a quick look at the recap of this match, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for all 6 rounds. AKO Ligers, they made history today as they hit the 22 bomb, the first in the Free Fire Challenges Philippines to get an overall 34-point booyah as the #1 game today as we opened up in Bermuda. Who's next were the next ones to pick the booyah up in game number 2 at Kalahari. And of course, in the 3rd round, it was Equinox that stepped up. Very impressive booyah by them, and they take round 3. And although AKO Ligers managed to secure the booyah for game number 4, it was Equinox in that #1 spot. So today has just been an amazingly good day for Equinox. But last 2 rounds belonged to the brand, belonged to the house of Wayday Esports. Bermuda, Kalahari, they prove that they are not to be messed with. And you can be the aggressive EVA Radicals. You can be the absolutely impressive players from the side of Go Willem Views. Wayday Esports just doesn't care, Neptune.
Yeah, and as we look, the most awaited moment, because we keep discussing this, who's going in, and there you go. Wayday Esports taking the top spot in this game, or in this series. 231, and just like that, beating the 100 kill point mark with 113, AJ, followed by AKO Ligers. Well, it has been expected. It is a chance for Wayday Esports to shine, and they shine really, really, really bright, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Today has been an amazing day for both AKO Ligers as well as Wayday Esports, because when we started, Wayday Esports were in the 3rd position, and the team of AKO Ligers, they were in the 4th spot. Now together, both of them have risen up to the 1st and 2nd position, pushing down Go Willem Views as well as EVA Radicals. But I feel like the team that most definitely will be the saddest today is the EVA Radicals brand, because they have actually lost 3 positions from that #1 spot all the way down to the 4th. But here's the saving grace. They have exceeded the 200-point mark, and to catch up with Wayday Esports, 1 solid round is more than enough for the dominant, aggressive ones of the competition. Just like Wayday Esports was holding back in the past couple of days, are we seeing an EVA Radical squad that's not really going all out? Or is this the best that all of those teams are chugging out, and EVA Radicals just cannot keep up? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we will most definitely have to wait and see exactly what they have in store for us next week. To complete the first half of the leaderboard, Bloodyhead, Who's Next, VPH Velocity, Equinox, as well as the Vindicators, they complete the 5th all the way up to the 9th spot. And the ones that have been most definitely impressive from that 5 has been Equinox today, jumping from the 10th spot, sneaking on to the 8th position with 2 back-to-back solid rounds for themselves once again, Neptune.
And definitely, it is not easy to jump in from 2 positions up, especially on the first half of this leaderboard. But going into the second half, we have Revayolus, we have Axis, Ego Oblivion, Monkey Tribe, Trot WIS, No Fear, Black Angels, AB Crusaders, and New Gen. So Revayolus is also, well, showing a little bit of potential to go in and cross that page, going in for the first page, but well, with some of the teams like Axis, who's also trying to catch up, Monkey Tribe, who died down a little bit but had great potential, Ego Oblivions with their placement potential, definitely. It's just keeping them from moving up that further. And the rest of the teams, guys, we're still calling you out, especially for the side of Black Angels. Yes, it's a safe side to get on those placement, not really being eliminated when you're trying to catch up on the kills, but I don't know, maybe you can try it at some point, and you might be impressed the same as we are when you do that, be aggressive a little bit, and you might be moving yourself up the leaderboard.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, the one thing that I definitely want to highlight here is Black Angel. They started off the day with 6 kills. They end the day with 6 kills. Black Angel, I'm looking at you. You've got Mustache staring at you dead in the eyes, wondering what in the world is going on, right? 6 kills at this point of the competition. Day number 4, unacceptable. Why is it unacceptable? You guys know. Will they step it up? We will have to wait until next week. AV Crusaders, on the other hand, I really like what I'm seeing. Little by little, they are stepping it up, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with the kills, with number of kills, if you look in that column, it's if you sort it just for that, it's going in against like above Ego Oblivion. So looking at the MVP.
Really? 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 Production? Really? McDeary?
Probably hungry.
I'll take that. I'm getting hungry too. But yeah, go on, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, probably hungry though, but I know McGrory is hungry in there for the kills as well as the damage, because as we are looking at it, AJ, 6,676 on the damage, 14 kills in there for the MVP. The hit rate 46.5. I would say that was an average for some of the MVPs right here, but 14 kills plus the damage and the 7 assists, who's like 4 shy from what we've seen earlier on this map, or on this day from that was not boy, that is from Kanoho. It is really good stats right here, AJ.
Absolutely, man. I want Vete Esports to savor this moment right now. Take a screenshot, because this has just sparked an amazing idea in my head. Why don't they get McDonald's to sponsor Vete Esports as well? I mean, McDory, man, he drops those bombs just like how each and every single one of those bombs drop, because he has truly been the grenadier that each and every single one of these players can look up to. From the start of the competition, he has been showing exactly what he's good at. And even today, all of those nades, they opened and they closed so many of those engagements, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And the delivery of McGrory in there with that Kobe definitely is into perfection.
Oh yeah, man. And it's not a fluke. It's not like he hits them accidentally sometimes. Each and every single time he's entrusted with those nades, it's just the trajectory, those aims from this guy, absolutely solid. But of course, if you guys are wondering, how is McGrory hitting all of his shots before those other players can react? Because you need to have enough frames on your phones to be able to react to that situation, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And that's exactly why we have got our power partners, because the Free Fire Challenges Philippines is sponsored none other by the Infinix Note 11S, a powerful smartphone with the Helio G96 Ultra gaming processor. And you get to fire up your gaming experience, and get this now for just 9,990 pesos, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And well, Infinix Note 11S is brought to you by Infinix Mobile, and like what AJ mentioned, the official sponsor of the Free Fire Challenger Philippines. So fire up your game with this best-selling gaming smartphone, the Infinix Note 11S. And well, we might see you in the next battles just like this in the Free Fire Challenger Philippines, especially when you're upping up your game, like when you're using this phone.
Hardware is extremely important. If you've got the mechanical skills, if you've got just the ideation in your head, but your device keeps freezing on you, or your device just cannot, articulate exactly what you've got going up in here and what you've got going on your fingers out there on the battlefield, it's not going to help you out. Hardware, extremely important. In fact, in some circumstances, a little bit more important, man. Because, they say some phones are pay to win, Neptune. This might just be one of those things, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But on that note, a lot of these teams have been going out there and they've been bagging the wins for themselves. And the most impressive one today, I have to say, has been Vete Esports. Not only have they gone in here and they've managed to get up to that #1 spot, right now, they are the ones with the most dominant placement points in the competition. They are the ones with the most kills in the competition, beating even Eva Radicals by 1 kill. They've not just outdone themselves, they've outdone each and every single competitor out there that are going up against them. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the amazing Neptune the Gentleman Garcia. I, the Mustachio AJ, we are signing off from day number 4 of the Free Fire Challenges Philippines. Make sure you do not miss the FFCM tomorrow as well, because the Malaysians will be kicking it off on Saturday as well as Sunday. As for the FFCP, we'll catch you guys next week.